Hey, what's happening, gamers? How's everybody doing? Hopefully you guys having a fantastic day. We're waiting for 40 likes to begin the stream, but I just wanted to come on and say how's it going. So today we're going to be doing, I think the Apocalypse levels, or I actually don't remember where we ended last time. I thought we finished Themyscira. I can't remember. But yeah, anyway, hopefully you guys having a fantastic day. Your streams today are LEGO DC Supervillains, we got more Sandland, and of course a special stream for one of our ultimates on Destroy All Humans. And then there will be a later stream on something else. So the views are almost at 900 for an hour, so we're going to have to push a YouTube short during this stream. So just keep in mind. But thank you guys very much for watching this morning's YouTube short. It got about 3,000 views, which helped the channel for the early afternoon, early morning. But now we got to, kick it into high gear for the, this time of night.
And we're at 40 likes.
And 40. All right, let's push past 40 though, because it was 40 before the stream started. So let's try to get to 50 like as quickly as possible.
Okay, and we had a new member. Caius Nelson just became a member today, and he's in the chat now.
All right, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. All right, so where were we?
Thank you, Caius Nelson. You're breathtaking. And Caius says I've been watching some of the videos and shorts or something, and he said it's nice to see some of the streams, and he became a member.
Are you almost done with the newsletter, or?
I'm doing it now, sorry.
Okay, because I need to also pick a YouTube short for us to be putting in the chat, because I'm sure we're going to need to be watching some stuff. Also, can you put the analytics up so I can see what our hourly is right now?
There it is.
What does it say? Is it at 1,000?
No.
What do you mean?
Well, 983 was the last hour, and then 1,125.
No. Over in the corner, what does it say?
It says 1,017.
Okay, we need to push a YouTube short like now. Pick something, put it in the chat.
Okay, well, okay, fine.
It's almost the end of the hour, we're not going to make it. Okay, so we did Themyscira. Granny's Coliseum. Wait, is this correct? 3, 1... 1, what's the... Oh, I see. Okay, so this...
How do I share this correctly? I don't even know.
Click on a short.
Okay.
Click on any, get the link. Put it in the chat. Doesn't matter what short.
I thought you said it doesn't count if it's a certain thing.
Honey, before it's 5 o'clock.
Kitty Goes Crazy.
That's fine. Grab Kitty Goes Crazy, grab the link, put it in the chat.
What is going on with you today? Somebody get into
The link is up at the top of the stream, man. It's right there.
Don't you just share it here?
No.
What?
The
You put it
correct,
up here?
yeah, the correct link is right there. Copy. Put it in the chat.
Alright, Kitty Goes Crazy.
Yep. Alright guys, we're putting a link in the chat. We need you to click this link like ASAP. If like 20 or 30 or 40 of you guys could do that. And then the stream will continue.
In there, Luke.
Yep, way to come in the clutch, guys and gals. Alright, so with that out of the way, Granny's Coliseum, we did all Themyscira. Granny's Coliseum we did, so we're on the Batman level. It says there are 2 mini kits left, and there's a hidden character, so let's do it. Good job coming in the clutch, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very, very much. So we probably won't be doing the cat short anymore. We'll probably do a different short.
I like
Cat short.
Come on, Perry. That footage was total baloney, and you know it.
Are you sure you should be talking to Mr. White like this, Lois?
The Justice League are the good guys. Who was it that got you a last-minute gift when you forgot your wife's birthday? Superman. And let's not forget all the times Cyborg has helped reset your email password. Okay, deal.
Oh, come on.
If the League come back and save the day, which they will, I get to do the report, and Jimmy gets to shoot it. If we're wrong, we'll happily resign.
Why'd I have to be dragged into this?
Like I'd ever join the likes of you. You're even more ridiculous than I first thought.
Okay, so we have 2 mini-kits left to find, and then the next section of the level will deal with the missing character, whoever that's going to be. Who is that? Oh, that's Constantine. Okay, we don't want that. Let's see, we could do... We'll bring in Cavill. Why not? We got Henry Cavill, and we got Batman. Yeah, but anyway, hopefully you guys are having a good one. Sorry for DEFCON 1 right at the beginning of the stream. Usually, when I get up, we're around 11 or 1200, so then I can just stream. I have no idea how we dropped that significantly, but that was freaking terrifying. Because then, like, all night we'd have to be struggling with... You don't understand that once you're in the 900 or 800 limbo, your channel's toast for the day. Like, no matter what you do, you will never crawl out of that small number. And, it's terrifying. So, I always like to break the odds, and the fact that we can mobilize you guys so quickly, it's because of you guys, so... You guys need to give yourselves a round of applause. You, like, mobilized, you watched the short, you did a great job, so... Very proud of everybody. Okay, so we need Reverse Flash because the Superman characters cannot use the Cosmic Treadmill.
The Reverse Flash has arrived. Mere child.
Mostly today it's all PlayStation live streaming day. We've got this game, we got Sandland, which I believe Sandland was also on Nintendo Switch, but I'm not sure. And then Destroy All Humans we got on PlayStation. And we will be doing a new Nintendo Switch series in just a few days. Big Cat in the Little City. Very excited about. The idea of Kitty Mischief is kind of fun for me. Also, I like the art style. It's very cel-shaded and kind of fun. I enjoyed when we did the Stray game a couple years ago. I thought that was a really well done game. And of course, there'll be more of the Megaton game because that got 1,000 views. Ow. Ow. I'm losing studs like crazy. Ow. Oh, I'm losing so many studs. Do I have all my stuff on? Do I have my stud multiplier on? Yes, I do. So back in the day, if you would have your multiplier and all your stuff on, like certain LEGO games would jam up, but LEGO DC Supervillains doesn't jam up. That's nice. Like in the original LEGO Batman 1 and 2, you had to choose which multipliers you would have turned on because the game would crash. I don't know why it would, it just would. It would just totally crash. Okay, so it's saying there's a mini kit above us, up here. Do we have a mod on the chat today besides Admin Amber?
You're still here? Do you actually enjoy wasting your time?
You're always admin. Where's my forehead kiss?
What?
Mmm.
You...
Now I'm awake.
It's not my job as admin.
No, it's your job as wife. Did you take all your antibiotics and stuff today? You're all taken care of it then? Good. You're going to be taking that for a couple weeks, or just for the rest of this week? Ninjas in pajamas, okay.
Yep, and again, thank you for the just kind words, Caius Nelson, and so glad you became a member. And sorry, sometimes we have a code red on the channel when it gets under a certain amount of views.
Well, yeah, because it's like, what happens is they see, oh, this is what your hourly is now, so we're going to readjust for the rest of the day.
Mayday!
And it would put us out of business, pretty much.
Yeah, and thank you for people, all of our members and ultimates in the chat, and Twitch members, and you know, people on Patreon, and everyone, and also our subscribers. Everything that you guys do helps the channel. When you guys are a member, it helps pay for the cost of like the software we need to use to you know, edit videos, our streaming software, our business internet that we need, because we have to have business internet because we have to stream at a really high rate of... I'm not a techie, but we have to transfer a lot of information continuously, extremely high def to stream. So it costs more than regular internet. And so all of the things that you guys, your memberships go to that, to actually, yeah. And also for new members, I will get you guys the link to Discord so you guys can join that. It's our members only Discord. And also we'll get you guys added on our, if you have a Switch friend code, we can get you guys added on that. And we'll try to get back into giving away a little gift for our members every month. I had this great idea. I don't know if it's a great idea, but I think it was great. Of making a pinwheel out of cardboard, and then I put like 12 random members' names, and we pick one and we give away something that month. And I literally would spin it, and you guys could see it. I think it would be kind of cute, but I will have to make. Maybe you could buy a cheap pinwheel.
I don't know. I don't
like
even
a
know
wooden
how that would
one. But anyways, great to see you guys. Hi Alex, the Lone Ronin. Hi, our newest member. Let's see, we got a lot of people. Hi Tim Reed. Hi Sammy Bear King. Hi Game Wing. Hi Alpal Gaming. Good to see you HM. Watching from Ireland. Hi Game Wing 1. Hi Alex, the Lone Ronin. Juan Ortega. Great to see you Tim Reed and Timmy the Megan fan. Hi Sammy Bear King. Hi Brandon. Hi, Geo the Hero. Hello, Dimmer Student. Hi, JCat. Hi, Caius Nelson, our newest member, says, "What's up? What's up, Caius?"
Hello, Caius. How you doing?
Hi, Blues Cat. Hi, Geeky PJ. And hi, Brandon Williams. Hi, Tom Kieran. How's it going? Who's actually one of our members on Twitch also. And hi, Lorray. Great to see you. And Tim Reed. Hi Alpha, great to see you, and Imperator Penguin is here, our resident penguin of KwingsLetsPlays.
Yep, resident penguin.
And hi Juan, and JCat275. Hi Shadow Trooper, viewed the cat short. Hi Princess Luca.
Fantastic guys, we're going to be pushing something else other than the cat short in about 15 minutes. Also remember guys and gals, remember to get the likes up. Likes and shares bring people in. We only have about 40 people here right now, so the likes and shares are uber important. But basically we found a way of annoying YouTube by staying around, because we can actually post our shorts or our videos that didn't do very well in the chat. And then you guys can go and you watch that real quick. We mobilize our audience, and we've been actually not necessarily putting a band-aid on our views, but we've been finding a way of like sticking it to the man, so to speak. And, you know, adding views into the channel where YouTube says there's no people watching.
And by we mean actually
the
you
community.
guys. You guys have been doing it, sticking it to YouTube, because
all we do is put the link and you guys click it.
like I was trying, I think I've explained a few times, but I'll just explain again if anyone is new to this idea. It's basically YouTube is only counting, like, if somebody is watching a 2-hour live stream, they're just counting it as like one view. They're supposed to be counting it like every 30 minutes as another view or something, but they don't. So it's like, so basically, so all these people watching for 2 hours, we just get one view per person, so that puts our hourly views down while we're streaming. So basically what we do is we push a chat in the comment section and put the link in there and get everyone to go there, as much of you guys as possible. And then if you guys watch that short 3 times during the video, then your view will count as, actually will be 4 views instead of just 1 for that 2-hour time frame.
Yeah, because shorts are different.
Because you'll watch the short 3 times, and then you can watch the stream, keep watching the stream, and then it counts as, you know, 4. Then that's 4 views altogether instead of just 1.
Yeah, and
so
that adds
helps
up
a lot.
Because and also like the next day of view is like all new. So like if there's a stream that we're gonna push, which we don't need to right now. Probably be pushing Lego DC Supervillains later if it doesn't do well. But yeah, that's the trick. It's a fun little loophole we found, rather than just being like, alright, we have to shut the channel down. It's like, this is what we do now. So we put short links and we put video links in the chat section. And have you guys go watch that for like just a few minutes. Also, it's okay for you guys to skip the ads when we put the link in, because like watching an ad doesn't count as a view. Like the video itself only counts a view if you watch the video.
Yeah, I have noticed, like, I've seen myself when I'm you know, just trying to like and share the videos on my phone. I notice when if I like a video and I'm about to share it, the like doesn't even count until this and I don't even see the view counter start to go up as if I watched it until the ad is done. So yeah.
Yeah. Especially when we tell you guys to skip the ad, it's okay. Like, because we're trying to put views back into the channel. But right now we're almost at 1,300, so we're doing okay.
Oh, so as soon as you came in, views started to go up.
Well, no. First, we had about 60 people that mobilized on the YouTube short. I was able to finish the newsletter, and then we could. This is about where we're supposed to be. Like, actually, we're supposed to be around 1,500, but 1,200 is doable.
Yeah, I was kind of talking about you before you came down. I was talking about my friend Sarah, who actually has ADD, and every time I went over to her house, all the cool kids were there, and she would invite me over there with them. And, like, I was talking about that time. I don't know if I told you about that time where I brought over that old Superman DVD, and the popular girls were like, what? And Sarah was like, this is cool. She's like, I like old cartoons. So she wasn't embarrassed by me at all, even though I wasn't cool, I don't think, at all, as all of them. But
that was a very important Superman series, like, back in the day. The thing they did in the 40s
See, that's what I was telling people. I said, I didn't have my friend Sarah after high school, and I met someone very similar to her.
I'm not a girl.
I know you're not a girl, but you're cool, and you appreciate things that I like, that are I wouldn't think that's weird. You don't think that Superman series is weird? You went to my house and you saw that DVD, didn't you?
We have that. I have that in my collection.
We have that 40s Superman thing?
Yeah, that's an important part of Superman's history.
So it is cool? I thought the DVD I brought over was I was so embarrassed. I was talking about how embarrassed I was.
Well, retro wasn't a thing in the 90s, but I'm just saying, like, that Superman show, if it wasn't for those Superman serials, we wouldn't have gotten the Superman live-action show later. Superman's powers changed over time. It was a very important thing.
And the music on I can explain that, Gio. We had a problem where, because we didn't know what was going on with the Fortnite thing, we had to remove several people from there because we just didn't want, maybe there was miscommunication where, people accidentally played ahead. So we just, we had to remove several people just so it didn't happen again because we really wanted to show it off on our stream. So, yeah, so we've removed a lot of people on there. Sorry about that, guys, but we have to, sometimes maybe I miscommunicate and, like, I say, oh, guys, can you guys help us with this? And then people play ahead, so I just removed a lot of people on there just so we can make sure it doesn't, because we really want to show that off next time. So thank you for wanting to help. I appreciate that. And we had to remove some people. I think we only have like either 0 or 1 keys left on there. So we removed several.
There's one admin, I think.
Yeah. So that's just because we really need to show, because part of doing a series, like when people watch it back, I know you guys kind of perceive the channel like, oh, no one's going to watch this, it doesn't matter, but the whole idea is to make a quality product so people can rewatch the series if they feel like it, 5 years from now if they want to watch it back. So, I mean, it will look jarring if part of it is missing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I planned on beating the bad guys. That's why I had my base, or my bed, there.
Yeah, so we've removed most of them. If there's still a problem, then we'll just have no admins on after that. But for right now, I think we may have 1.
So last night I made kind of I impressed everybody with the Mario Tennis thing. Apparently it was really hard to beat Mario and Peach. And I defeated them, in Mario Tennis, and it actually was the hardest, or the most challenging Mario and Peach battle I've ever done. And I did beat them, so that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I saw some people on your stream in the comments. So you did really well on that.
We have to go back. I messed up. We missed a mini kit.
So why don't you tell me how cool what happened after the 1940s or 30s Superman cartoon?
You had the George Reeves Superman's live action show.
So Oh, the live action show came after it. And I did watch that show. I watched that show.
The radio show was around the same time as the movie serial. Or the short serial, I wouldn't really call it a movie serial.
Yeah, it was a small cartoon clip.
Yeah.
They were very small.
Animated short.
Yeah, and I was telling the chat, like, I remember the background music of that. It was like da 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 da. Like, it was like really intense music, like organ, like da 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 da. Like,
no, that's
it's not. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. How do you remember that? How do you remember that music? That's exactly it. That's the music. That's the background to that. Yeah, and that's when they were trying to rescue Lois, and it was like terrifying. They were gonna like sacrifice her to these eagle people.
Yeah. I just remember theme songs.
Yeah, so I was talking about how I was horrified of. Nope, if anyone shares a key with someone else, then we'll remove that. So please don't ask for a key, please don't share your key with anyone else, because then we'll have to remove every key. And if we do that, then we'll just have to play it solo, and we won't be able to bring anyone on. So please don't, there's no reason, you know, I'll grind later at night on my own, and, we might have one person who's an admin that will grind with us. So
yeah, because what happened was we turned into the stream, and we were planning on showing off there was like a huge army of stormtroopers, and then we didn't even get to see, after you defeated the stormtroopers, there was no story update either. So I mean, basically the stream for an hour was nothing.
Yeah, remember, guys and gals, if there's 8 people playing, the stream isn't just for those 8 people. If you have 60 people watching, the 60 people watching really wanted to see that battle, if that makes sense. Like, people are kind of hanging out in the chat, they really want to see the action, so if we do the action off screen, then it will be very disappointing. People won't get to see that, and it's frustrating. It also doesn't give us anything to bring viewers in, which is what we need for the channel, and we don't have a point of our episode. It was just kind of like wandering around. So yeah, please don't ask anyone to share their share key, because if you guys end up sharing your share key again and anything happens, you know, I don't want to have to take all the share keys. So, you know, if you don't have a share key, then, you know, just know that, you know, maybe in 6 months, if we try this again, maybe we'll add more share keys again. But for right now, we have to preserve our series and make sure a mistake doesn't happen again. So we can't give any share keys out. We might be able to give like 1 or 0.
Okay, let's move on. Alright, so I need to bring in Constantine. Oh, Constantine is already here. Where is he? Constantine uses plant powers? Oh, he uses everything. Okay.
So after the George Reeves thing, then
came Christopher Reeves.
Oh, then came Christopher.
Well, technically, first came the Super Friends. Wait, there was a Superman TV show, I believe, too. A cartoon.
So at the time of that, is that time of that old 30s or 40s cartoon?
Mm-hmm.
Was Superman more popular than Batman at that time? Or?
Batman had a few movie serials in the 40s, but he didn't have, he had a cartoon show around the same... I really don't believe that Superman had a cartoon show. I fear you? I remember the Super Friends. I remember there's 2 different Batman cartoon shows in the 60s and 70s. Okay, there's the hidden character. And I can't get near the hidden character because there's a giant dragon here. Okay, so the hidden character was Wonder Girl. Alright, that's cool. But we didn't get the mini kit, so that means we need to go again.
Sammy remembers it. Sammy says, I'm sorry. Sammy says, and for some reason the song had a gong in that Superman show. So Sammy.
Yep. It's more like a movie serial though, but yeah.
Character to use, you can use Ivy, says GameWin. Mario Bros. Aunt. Hi, Mario Bros. Aunt TV. Good to see you. Hope you're having a great day. Why am I not playing Daffy? Because the split screen is really weird, hard to look at.
Yeah, the split screen's really jarring. We don't like split screen.
If we were on the Wii U, which, honestly, if we were in the good timeline of Earth, then the Wii U actually was the dominant system of that Earth 573. And in that Earth, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo all continue to upgrade the Wii U and make it amazing. Like in the original commercial for the Wii U, where you could actually have it on your tablet and then fling the picture on the TV like they showed in the original commercial.
I really thought more game systems were going to do that in the future.
Nothing more.
And then, in that universe, I am playing, in that Earth, I am sitting next to Luke, and I am playing my Wii U pad.
Yeah,
And Luke's playing on the screen.
Amber loved the Wii U because, like, she would have her own screen.
Yeah.
It was nice.
That was the best system.
I never understood why companies didn't follow suit with that again. It was kind of like, it was a revolutionary idea, you know? And now, it's like, the focus is always on multiplayer stuff. Like, every game has to have multiplayer. Like, if they make another, like, Lego Batman game, it's probably gonna have online multiplayer. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like, everything has to be multiplayer. Nothing can be like a single or like local thing. It's always got to be like, we got to bring in as many people as possible type situation.
What is a movie serial, says Alex.
Movie serial?
They're like mini...
They're like, you would go to the theater, you would watch that thing before the movie that you were there to see. Like, in the 40s, movie theaters were like matinees. Like, you would go there all day. It wasn't like, kind of like, okay, we're just doing this thing. You would be there all day. And then you would go at like, I think like 10 in the morning, and you would be leaving like close to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Because movies were a lot longer back then. Some movies even had intermissions, depending on, you know, what you were seeing.
Yeah.
That's how it was described to me by my grandparents. It wasn't until like the 60s or the 70s that movie theaters just like, you would go there to see like one movie and then that was it.
Yeah, I remember hearing about the intermission. In fact, I remember watching movies in which people were at a movie theater in the movie, and you could see them leave for intermission or just sit there and like move around their seat at intermission. Yeah, I mean, it was like an event that you would go to the movies, and you're there like all day.
Yeah, because some movies, like Gone with the Wind was an incredibly long movie.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like, people complain today, like when Lord of the Rings was like 3 hours, but there were some like regular movies that were like, super long. And they would have like mini things in the middle to like kind of break it up. You know, once you would go there, you would be there for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Most people today, you go to the movie theater, maybe you're there for like 2 hours or 2.5 hours. And back in the day, like during the Depression and stuff like that, you go to the movie theater, you're there for like almost 6 hours.
Yeah, they did used to have a lot of longer movies. I've seen in the library and stuff, they had some 6-hour movies. There are some other 6-hour movies.
Well, think about all those musicals. Those musicals were like over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like those old like, because they were just very long. I don't know why.
I'm trying to think of other movies that I thought Wuthering Heights was very long. I thought Anna Karenina was long. I don't know. I'm just spitting out names that I thought were movies back then. But I haven't seen those movies.
I grew up with all those things because my grandparents were wicked old, so they would have like musicals and they'd have westerns and have all these things on. And once they would put those movies on, because I would want to watch cartoons. I'd want to watch Voltron or like Thundercats or He-Man or something. And then that's why they had the TV in the kitchen. Both TVs had cable. Actually, every TV in the house had cable, but because they were trying to monitor my watch time, I'd have to do it in the kitchen because my grandma was always in the kitchen, so she could tell how long I was watching stuff.
Oh, interesting.
And then when it was time for a nap, she would tell me to go into the room where there wasn't a TV.
Oh, because she didn't want you sleeping in front of the TV.
I fell asleep during the TV, and sometimes she'd pick me up and bring me to the clown room.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You wake up surrounded by clowns.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Jade Rose says, I loved the Wii U for the same reason. Split screen hurts my head a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And Jade Rose, Luke also gets headaches from, especially, not just the split screen, but the dynamic split
I
screen.
do not like dynamic, yes. I don't mind split screen or vertical screen. It's okay. It gives me a little bit of a headache, but dynamic is a nightmare because it's always spinning around. It's like...
It's hard to watch. I'm just going to say, like, I didn't want to say it when we were playing a two-player game because I wanted to be encouraging, but it's really hard from actually being realistic and honest. Watching one picture with a character in the center is much easier to watch than two side-by-side characters running. It's like jarring to watch two different people doing two different things next to each other. For me, it's hard to watch split screen back.
Yeah, we gotta do this level again because we missed the
So like the Snyder cuts of Sammy? Yeah, kind of like that.
Aquaman,
You know,
and
the...
I don't think we've properly met. What's your name, friend?
I won't.
No time for talk. You're right. That dark side packs quite a wallop. A little longer in the sun, and I'll be back to full strength.
Can you soak up those rays any quicker, Superman? Looks like we might need your powers sooner than we thought.
What is that? Dark side.
All right, so the Superman short picked up, so that's helping tremendously.
So, you remembered the music, so you've watched the... You and Sammy Bear King know of the cartoon of which I speak.
Why wouldn't we? I told you, it's an important part of Superman's history.
I felt like such a dork at that party. And my friend Sarah made me feel so calm. She said, I like old cartoons. She said, this is kind of cool. And everyone else was rolling their eyes and staring at me like, why did you bring this girl? Like, she's such a weirdo. It's like, but that was my friend, like I explained. And I don't want to like embarrass you or anything, but I don't know why, but people with ADD sometimes have this superpower of they're cool on accident. They're so cool, but because ADD people are humble, they can't comprehend how cool they are. So my friend Sarah was one of the most popular girls in school, but she wasn't aware of that. She didn't know that.
Not to burst your bubble, but ADD people were not popular usually.
She was. The entire drama team would come to her house, the entire soccer team, all of the most popular girls in school were her best friends.
Then she didn't have ADD as bad as like other people.
She had it very bad.
Was she on medicine?
Yes.
Okay, that's why.
She would take the medicine at night. She would be this goofy, like, kind of crazy goofball and be joking about all this cartoon stuff. And then she'd be like, hey guys, at 8 o'clock, she'd be like, I have to take my medicine. She'd come back and she'd be like, all right, what are we watching? And it's like, I was like, what happened to my friend? Like, that's what bothered me. And when you said, like, when you were like, I like the goofball Sarah. Like, that's the Sarah I would know. That's the Sarah that would play Ninja Turtles with me. And she'd be like, yeah, pizza time! And she was acting crazy and stuff, and we were having fun. And she'd be like, you know what would be great? Pizza rolls. And I'd be like, awesome. This is like the 90s dream friendship. And then, like, when you told me, like, certain people wanted to put you on medicine, I knew exactly what you were talking about. I was like, oh no, my friend was on this medicine. I even talked to her about that one time. I said, I like you better without it. And she said, well, I can't concentrate.
Yeah, exactly. So the reason why she was popular in school, though, is because she was medicated.
Yeah, but she's also really talented.
Most kids, if you had ADD and you weren't medicated, you weren't popular, you were a troublemaker.
Yeah, but ADD people are abnormally talented many times.
Yeah.
Because I knew another girl with severe ADD in my graphic arts class, and she was crying because she thought she wasn't as good as everyone else at photography. I looked at the photos she had taken. They looked like they could be hanging on the walls in the Louvre. And I was like, she's like, I just don't know if I understood the assignment. And she's in tears. And I was like, I can't even remember her name. But I was like, I was sitting next to her, and I was like, almost wanted to like grab her and be like, "Look, your picture is better than everyone else's. Please, you have to realize how good you are at this." And I just said, look, I said, I've seen everyone's picture in this school. I said, I glanced by everyone else's photographs. I was like, you have the best picture in the class. Like, don't worry. But like I said, ADD people cannot perceive how good they are at things or how popular they are. They actually are achieving way more than they're aware of. That's how I perceive them. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying if you can find a good friend with ADD, that they're usually very humble and they don't know how great they are.
Okay, here we go. So, why was the Superman series so important? The one from the 40s? Because it was the first time that people ever got to see Superman's powers, really. Like, it was
Come on,
a
Perry.
huge deal.
That footage was total baloney.
We've already seen this.
And
We're gonna
you
skip
know
this.
it.
Can we skip?
Are you sure you should be talking to Mr.
Good.
White like this, Lois?
The
No,
Justice
can't
League
skip
are the
this.
good
Yeah, there we go.
guys.
Okay, we've seen
Who
this
was it
already,
that
so
got
we're
you a
gonna skip
last
this.
minute?
What I'm saying is you're my cool friend.
Okay.
Like I'd ever join the likes of you. You're even
Superman
more
hasn't
ridiculous
appeared that
than
much
I
in
first
media that
thought.
people don't realize. Like, so for the longest time when Superman appeared, he was just kind of like bulletproof and stuff like that, and it like the Superman serials looked really weird. And then the Superman like 50 show, he still didn't utilize all his abilities really. But the Fisher Superman is really popular because it inspired Bruce Timm to make the Superman animated series in the 90s, which was the true kind of like Superman thing. Also, the art style of the Fisher Superman from the 40s, the serial, was also kind of like Bruce Timm's inspiration for Batman the Animated Series. Like the characters, if you go back and you see the Fisher Superman, and you compare it to the animated series, it's an important part of the DC animated history as well, because it was the template for that design for those characters. So basically, Bruce Timm and company brought the Fisher style back for Superman the Animated Series, or for Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, and Justice League. Like, it was revitalized, as well as, like, for Superman fans, it was how you saw Superman use his powers, because the live-action TV show, The Adventures of Superman, from 1952 until 1958 by George Reeves, like, every once in a while people would pull a gun on him and it would bounce off, but they would just shoot blanks at him once. You know, he wasn't always doing insane feats of strength, or, like, trying to hold a bridge up, or all the things that Fisher Superman did with ease. It showed his powers. Like, there was a building falling down, and Superman, like, you know, stops it from falling, and it has the music like da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, it's, like, very dramatic, and they're building up tension. And for the most part, those movie serials, there's not a lot of talking in it. It's, like, for the most part, the music is a huge part of the character of the show, or, like, the serials. So,
Yes.
it's an emotion for the character, which
Yes, the
was
music
brought
is
back.
intense.
The music was also important because, like, Shirley Walker was inspired by that, and when
by
she
those
did
old serials, that's inspired her to do Batman in
animated series music, right? So the reason why Batman the Animated Series music, like, had so much emotion and it captivated the scene is also you have to thank the Superman Fisher, like, movie serials.
You know what? When you watch those old Superman small movies, I just was thinking this, and maybe I'm wrong, but I was thinking the music is almost larger than the video. Like, the music is just busting out of that video. Like, it's huge. Like, the music is so powerful.
But they had an actual orchestra do it. Like, you know, that's just how it was. But Superman hasn't appeared that much in things. Like, people think that Batman and Superman have the same amount of media. They don't. Superman had the 50s live-action show with George Reeves. And then it took a while, but Superman didn't come back outside of radio until 1966. He had a cartoon show called The New Adventures of Superman, which lasted for quite a while, 1966 until 1970. And then in 1974, Superman joined the Super Friends. So for the most part, Superman has always appeared in collab shows. Like, Batman's had his own solo shows, like, way more than Superman has. But Superman was a prominent member of course, the Super Friends and stuff like that. But he didn't really have a lot of his own solo adventures.
Quintatsu, I will I'll read the...
You're still here?
The-
Do you actually enjoy wasting your time?
Alright, I'll read those 2 comments about Superman, and then I'll read your question about Batman. Alright, so... Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, I'm not quite done yet.
Alright, Luke is gonna give us some more information on why it's so important. So.
Yeah, so, also, like, after the whole Super Friends thing, like, in order to celebrate Superman's 50th anniversary, one of the Superman shows I really liked was a short-lived cartoon show called Ruby Spears Superman, just called Superman. And it was based on the Christopher Reeve Superman, and it was a very well-done animated show, but it didn't last very long. It's actually kind of a collector's item if you can get it on DVD. I have it. I've shown Amber it. It's called the Ruby Spears Superman, and Wonder Woman actually guest stars in the show, like, once or twice. So it was based on the animation style of the Superpowers Galactic Guardian show, which was one of my favorites. Adam West returned to play Batman, and they had like the Neil Adams, George Perez, Dennis O'Neil like art style and vibe. Like, it was a very well detailed show. It was very, very cool. But unfortunately, the Ruby Spears Superman show didn't survive because it couldn't compete with a lot of popular 80s cartoon new shows like Thundercats and Silverhawks and like all kinds of stuff. Like, the superhero shows were also kind of dying out, and they were being replaced by more adventurous shows like the Pirates of Darkwater and things like that. So a lot of fantastical like superhero and sci-fi shows were kind of like running out of steam by like 1989, 1990, when the Ruby Spears Superman was just starting to take flight, which was a shame, but Ruby Spears Superman was great in 1988. Fantastic. And then, of course, the next show that you had, the big Superman thing, would have been the Christopher Reeves films were going on, but that wasn't technically really on TV. They had 4 movies, and Superman was super popular in the 80s, but he only had 1 cartoon show. He was on the Super Friends from 1974 all the way until, like, 1984, I think. Something like that. And then you had 2 big Superman shows in the 90s, which was the Superman animated series, but I believe Superman animated series came after the Lois and Clark show. Lois and Clark show was huge for Superman because, like, it brought Superman into like kind of a rom-com setting, but also it showed like how Clark could be like a really important investigative reporter, as well as he could do other stuff too. He could do the Superman stuff.
Yeah.
That show was famous for incorporating a line about how Clark Kent is who he is, Superman is what he can do.
Yeah, I thought that was really a great thing to show what kind of person he was. It really fleshed out his character because it really showed who he was, because it's like he happens to be good at all this stuff, but that's not who he really is. That's not what he loves. It's not what he thinks about, what he dreams about, what makes him feel happy, what makes him feel fulfilled in life. That's not what... He just happens to be great at that, but that's not who he is. He just happens to do that.
Yeah, right. So when that show happened in 1993, and then the Superman show kicked off, Bruce Timm was inspired by that interpretation of Clark Kent. So every Superman mythos kind of like borrows from each other a little bit. So the Lois and Clark thing borrowed from the Christopher Reeves and the Ruby Spears Superman show, as well as the Fisher Superman. So again, the 1940s thing. And then later on, when the Superman animated series took flight in 1996, 3 years after the Lois and Clark show, they incorporated elements of Dean Cain's Lois and Clark, as well as they did the Fisher Superman, the Ruby Spears Superman, and a little bit of the Christopher Reeve stuff. And for a lot of people, the Bruce Timm Superman show from 96 is the definitive Superman. Because in that show, they incorporated all the things from different Superman media that people really liked. Superman was an investigative reporter. Clark Kent was who he was. Superman was what he did. And they really did a great job with the romance of the show, as well as incorporating some of Superman's really cool villains that we couldn't see on the Dean Cain show. The Dean Cain show was a great dynamic between Lois and Clark, but the problem is the technology didn't exist, so they had to show hokey Superman
Made it
like
this
villains
far, have
that,
you?
you know, they could put on television.
Yeah, like you couldn't have any really
No.
high-tech villains because with cool like armor plating and stuff. Because how could you show that? How could you even show sci-fi like alien villains or anything?
Yep. And then, as with most things in the early 2000s, a lot of companies were shying away from superhero shows where characters were wearing spandex, which echoes back to the 1999 or the 2000 X-Men movie, where it's like, what did you prefer, yellow spandex when they're all wearing black spandex and trying to make superheroes cool? So the Smallville show didn't allow Superman to actually wear a costume. He was just going around acting like a vigilante, you know, from 2001 until 2011, when he finally dons the Superman costume at the end. But the reason why the show creators never had Superman wear his costume, it echoes back to that mentality of the 2000s that superheroes weren't cool if they were wearing colorful costumes. So,
Yeah.
yep. Then we had a couple other small Superman cartoons in the 2000s, nothing to really brag home about. But for the most part, Batman has totally had way more media than Superman. So for like every 10 Superman show, there's been like 15 Batman things or more. You know?
But Superman started it. It was the
Yes,
first
Superman
DC
was
character.
the first superhero. No, he wasn't just the first DC superhero. He was the first super-powered superhero.
Wait, Superman was the first superhero ever?
Superman was the first super-powered superhero, yes. There were costumed heroes in the 1800s and the early 1900s.
He was the first. He was the first
Very
comic
first.
hero with powers.
He was the very first superhero with powers, yes. That's why Superman is very
Wow.
important.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the first time they were like, we're gonna make him have powers randomly.
Yep, he came before Captain America. He came before all the superpowered superheroes. He was the first.
So everyone copied him, basically.
Basically.
But except for Batman didn't copy him, because Batman didn't have powers.
Batman was a copy of several characters. He was an inspiration of the Shadow, of Zorro, and just vigilante characters in general. But of course, you know, Bob Kane and Bill Finger did so much with Batman that I could talk about forever. I'm not a big Superman person, so I don't know a lot about him. Because, again, Superman wasn't in media as much as Batman. Like, he had... Most of the time, Superman has always been regulated or sidelined to only team-up shows. He's had a big prominent role in the team-up shows, but he's had very few solo adventures. Even the one Superman show where he works with the Legion, like the Legion of Superheroes, it's Superman and the Legion of Superheroes. They had to team him up with another group of superheroes to give him his own show.
Oh.
He's only had his own show a few times, animated. The 1960s Superman, the Ruby Spears Superman cartoon, the Superman cartoon with Bruce Timm, so that's 4 Superman solo cartoons. And then he had the most recent Superman cartoon, My Adventures of Superman, which is kind of like a modern retelling.
Yeah, that was cute.
Yep, it's the cute anime, kind of like Adult Swim / Toonami show a little bit.
Yeah, that was very cute.
So Superman has not had that many solo cartoon shows. He just hasn't. It's just, you know, Superman is a very hard character to work with because he's so, you know,
But
super.
he's also, even though it's hard to work with him, he's very cool and inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that even though, I mean, he has all these powers, so it's kind of like he's way OP, but he does have, like, for most people, having all those powers, right, like, would corrupt a person. Like Zod or other Kryptonians, most people would be corrupted.
Yep,
But because of his kind heart, just like Goku, it's like he's not corrupted because of that.
For the most part, Superman has been sidelined to only ensemble shows, it's a shame because Superman, he is a leading character. So what we're going to see with Superman going forward, because the My Adventures of Superman show got another season, so there will be a season 2 of that, and they're probably not going to bring Batman or any Justice League characters in anytime soon, because they want the focus to be Superman. But eventually, they probably will create their own universe where they'll have, like, you know, guest characters show up. Kind of like what happened with, if it wasn't for Superman the Animated Series with Bruce Timm, we never would have gotten the idea for the Justice League, because the Superman show acted as kind of like a gateway to all these superpowered characters to show up. You had Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, you had the Flash show up in an episode, you know, and it went from there. And then when those characters were introduced, then Warner Brothers was kind of like, we could actually get away with making a new Justice League show that's not like the Super Friends. Because they were trying so hard to get out of the shadow of the Super Friends. That's what they were doing.
Alright, so I'll try to get to the...
You're it!
Sorry for talking so long.
So many ninjas! I needed to test your conviction. Many people would have just left.
Well, I'm not many people. I'm Batman.
We are yours.
Sorry for gabbing your ears off, guys and gals. I go off on tangents sometimes.
He does it all the time. It can get a little tiring.
We have located where Superman landed. We are en route now.
Ensure your seat is in the upright position as we are preparing to land.
I hope everyone was taking notes.
Dinosaur Island!
Huh? How do you figure that?
So we already did this level, we're not doing this. I don't know that much about Superman, though. My knowledge of Superman came from ensemble shows.
Find your man of steel.
I liked Superman in the Justice League series, and I liked the... If it wasn't for Batman the Animated Series, I never would have gotten into the Superman show, because the creators of Batman, that show, opened up the greater DC universe for me, because I was only a Batman fan. So when Batman went off the air, because it did for a while, you know, after, I think it was 95, 96, the show was on reruns until 1997.
Yes.
And then when they brought, in 1998, when they brought Batman back to television with the Red Sky series, they incorporated Batman and Superman working together, but only in a few episodes. So even though in America they called it the world's finest of the Batman-Superman adventures, Batman and Superman only worked together a handful of times. They had their separate seasons, and once in a while the characters would cross over, kind of like how characters from the first season of the Superman animated series, like Flash and Green Lantern, crossed over in a Superman show. Batman would guest star on Superman show once or twice, and Superman only guest starred on Batman show twice.
Yeah, thank you for asking that question, actually, Brandon, why Superman is so important. I appreciate that. Brandon always has the poignant questions to ask. Whoops. I'm listening to you. So thanks for asking that question, Brandon. Really appreciate that. Quintatsu says, K-Wing, I have a question. What would you say to someone who's trying to become Batman in real life?
You can't. You have to be rich.
Well, what if they were able to get the money somehow?
If they were able to get billions of dollars?
What if we were able to get our hands on some? What if we wanted to be Batman, but sort of like him, but not rich? You'd have to have... Well, Batman is known for having willpower and also...
Step 1.
The only
pushing
Batman,
himself every day.
The only Batman, you could never be comic book Batman. The only Batman you could be, your model would have to be Keaton's Batman. Keaton's Batman had a Kevlar rubber suit that was fire resistant. That's possible. It's made of a material that firefighters actually use when they go inside fires. That's a real thing. He had a type of like synthetic Kevlar all over his suit that made it like bulletproof. His car was very expensive. It had machine guns on it, 60 caliber machine guns, as well as like some surface-to-air rockets. He had, you know, radar technology, and he had computers built into his car. He didn't have extensive martial arts training. He only knew a few types of martial arts. If you go back and you watch the Keaton Batman, he incorporated karate, jiu-jitsu, and a little bit of Muay Thai, but not really. And Muay Thai he mostly used for defense. Like, you can see him blocking with his elbows and his knees in both Batman Returns and Batman. But that might have just been the stunt guy was Muay Thai. I don't know. So he didn't really have that many things in his arsenal. He was a very gadget-oriented Batman, and probably that Batman in the 1980s was able to operate at about like $100 million back then in the 80s. And he wasn't going out every night either. Also, he was being very careful where he was just dealing with kind of like lesser known crimes until the Joker came out. So Batman was kind of like an urban myth. He was just kind of preying on criminals that were mugging people. And actually, he didn't necessarily save everyone either, because the family that... I've asked this question at conventions and I still don't know the answer. The family at the beginning of the movie either was gunned down, that was a family like Bruce Wayne and Bruce got revenge for them, or the parents were killed and the little kid survived, or they all ran away. Like, they never tell you what happens to the family at the beginning of the Keaton movie, because the thug dialogue is like, you shouldn't have turned the gun on the kid, man. You shouldn't have turned on the... And he's like, you want a cut of this money? Shut up, you know? It's like he has no remorse for killing the family or scaring the family. You don't know. It's never explained. It's never brought up in commentary. Like, Tim Burton doesn't even know if the family lived or not. And he's older now, so it's like... Batman showed up as kind of like an angel of, like, death, in a sense. Like...
Yeah, that's what I always perceived him as. You know, the angel of death. That's exactly what and that's what in the Mask of the Phantasm, that's what it looks like.
Right, but you being like a Keaton-style Batman, you know, he didn't do it very long. So that's probably why he survived as well, is because, like, going out every night, even with your fancy tech, eventually, in real life, people are going to make mistakes. There's been real-life vigilantes, and usually you don't hear about them in the news very long because they die. There were people in the 90s that tried to do stuff. They get shot in the face. It doesn't matter if they have Kevlar and stuff like that. People are smart, and they aim for openings. I'm not going to say where, but wherever on your mask is open, you can use your imagination. That's where people would get hurt. And they never make the news because vigilantes are against the law. There are neighborhood watch vigilantes that are inspired by superheroes, and they wear colorful costumes, and they're in Florida and parts of... I don't remember. Mostly in Florida. They carry a walkie-talkie, and they stop lesser-known crimes, and some of them get arrested for battery sometimes, but there are people that try to do it in real life. It just doesn't end well. Either you go to jail or you die. Mostly. Or you're just kind of like a neighborhood watch person who, you know, is just really obsessed with your neighborhood, and everybody knows you, and as soon as you try to take on a bigger crime, you're in trouble. Because, you know, the law isn't very kind to real-life vigilantes. They're just not.
Yeah.
But we're in a lawless world now, so who knows what's going to happen. I don't know.
Did you guys see the official reveal of David's Superman costume? If so, what do you guys think of it, says John Doe.
I haven't seen it yet. You want us to look?
I think it looks good, and I'm glad they're officially bringing the red trunks back onto Superman, says John Doe. Oh, so they're bringing old school costume back. Mitchell, the Go animator, says, how are you both doing? Hi, Mitchell. Doing pretty well. Hope you're doing well, too. Thank you. And Game Wing has been trying to tell us what kind of character to use, but...
How can you guys tell there's this... I can't even see the trunks. Where is it? Oh, I see it. So he's putting on... You have the end of the world there. He looks like Superman. He does. The suit's not bad. It's like kind of a mixture of Henry Cavill and the CW suit. I think it's a good suit. It doesn't look too bad. The S I was worried about because I didn't like the design, but seeing it in action on the suit, you know, it doesn't look bad. So here we have Superman. He's putting on some type of alien threat. And he's putting on his boots and he's going to work. Okay, we go. Why is my sound settings all messed up? Hang on, guys. My computer's being stupid. There we go. So that's what he looks like, Amber. There's Superman.
Yeah. I mean, I like the little curly Q on his hair. That's a nice touch.
The curly Q is important. Dean Cain had the curly Q. The comics has the curly Q. But I think that's a cool picture. He's putting on his boots. He's going to work. Alien invasion attacking Metropolis. Doesn't look too dark. It's got a little bit of color to it. I think James Gunn's going to surprise us. I don't know. I think the suit looks good. I don't know what the movie's going to be about, but it looks like they're definitely doing the Grant Morrison Superman, though. So the suit to me looks very Morrison-like. So.
Hi, Pack Runner. Hi, Tim Reed. Hi, J-Cat, Mitchell, Alex, Gamewing, Mage Wolf, and Crossfighter. Good to see you, everyone.
Really? Yes, thank you. Clark Kent, where on earth have you been? On another planet? It's just a phrase, Clark. Are you okay? Are you sick? Why do I sound worried? Because you've been off work and there are suspicious heroes flying around and an alien planet in the sky that's home to a villain who wants to conquer Earth. That's why. Superman told you I need to meet him where? Why would he? Oh, okay. Clark is back for 5 minutes and he's got us a scoop already. Let's go.
That was Clark? Where's he been?
Something about dinosaurs on an island. I think he's still got a fever or he's been watching too many movies. Let's go.
We should have set up here in the first place.
I know, right?
We're close now.
Huh? Commissioner Gordon. Always a pleasure. What's up now?
It's the Justice League. They're back. And like you said on TV, they've gone bad.
Say, now's not a good time.
I'll send my team out right away.
Snap! Thief! Somebody do something!
What's he doing?
Okay, Flash. Let's end this in a flash. I've got the boss's anti-life equation.
Johnny?
So, are you going to come quietly?
Nope. No, I don't think so. I'm an ice cream stealing bad person.
I'll stop the evildoer.
Mind if I join in?
You two shouldn't come back. There's only room for one speedster around
Okay,
here,
so we're gonna have this level. We might have to do a couple times because we have to get all this stuff.
You tell him, Johnny.
Hold on tight, little lady. This could be
I
a
keep
bumpy
forgetting
ride.
if Johnny Quick is evil or good.
Yeah, Johnny Quick is bad.
He's from the other Earth, Justice League.
He's not Justice League. It's Prime Syndicate.
Oh yeah.
He's always bad.
I had no idea the heroes on this Earth were so slow. Go get them, Atomica.
My
I mean,
pleasure,
like,
Johnny.
Games did such a great job of making
Sorry.
the Flash.
Am I distracting you, huh?
I can't believe they were able to animate this.
Oops.
Atomica! You pay for that, you slow motion super losers!
I think I'm supposed to destroy everything, but I'm not sure. Okay, there it is.
Give it up, you're too slow!
No, well, yeah, I'm not trying to catch him right now. I'm trying to collect stuff. You can kind of see it's like off to the side a little bit. We're just kind of running through Metropolis right now.
Too easy. You call this a race?
So it's been years since we played this thing.
6 years.
Do you remember how to play it?
Vaguely.
Sort of.
I mean, I have been playing it off and on for a while now, so, you know, but no, I've actually never 100%ed this game. This would be a first. Like, and I used to 100%, or no.
Now I got you.
Oh, nuts, we gotta do it again. We caught him.
Hey, let's be reasonable here.
Whoopsies.
Because we needed to get
How about
more
I give you
stuff.
your old job back?
Too late for that now. Tell me what you're up to.
You're a good guy. You wouldn't hurt me, would you?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Better tell him, Johnny. I've never seen him like this.
Oh, don't tell him, Johnny.
Tell me.
Listen, we're just a bunch of crooks working for Darkseid. He wanted us to find something.
What? Something.
A mother box.
A what now?
He told us if we found it, we could have your planet.
You blabbermouth.
I thought Darkseid was looking for the anti-life equation.
It's in the mother box.
Ugh, stop talking.
Did you get all that?
Every word.
Oh no.
Good job, Flash. Wow, Flash was able
Flash
to be...
set him up.
Able to be
Sorry, everyone.
intimidating.
Flash didn't play fair. I panicked.
And with this evidence, the crime syndicate has been unmasked.
The crime syndicate of bad people.
Oh, well,
was nice while it lasted.
Shouldn't we get out of here?
Huh? I, don't suppose you'd consider a bribe.
Okay, we're gonna have to do it again. Exit level.
That's very cute, Sammy says. Before my grandma passed, she worked at this library and she'd bring home VHS when he was little, and I would say I lost them so I could keep some of them for myself. I think he's talking about like the old VHS maybe for the Superman stuff. So that's why Sammy knew that theme song too. That's really cute, Sammy. So you liked them so much you would just try to keep them. That's very cute.
I'm gonna try to do the Hall of Justice stuff first, and then we'll go back to the Speedster section. So we're gonna do whatever is available in the Hall of Justice to do.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that, and then we'll go back to the Speedster stuff.
I think I did that from the library. I mean, when I was little, I probably forgot to bring some DVDs back VHSs back on accident or on purpose. Like, oh, I lost this, especially a book from the library too.
Is the little kid, black cat in the city? Is it only on Nintendo Switch, or is it a multi-platform game? Does anybody know?
Oh, Luke, a game came out recently that I had been looking forward to, but it's $50. The Endless Ocean.
You want the Endless Ocean?
Oh my gosh, it looks so beautiful. You can swim with whales.
You really? Okay.
No, we don't have it. I'll wait till it goes on sale.
We just got paid by PayPal.
No, honey, I'm not using that.
Are you gonna stream it?
I'm not.
If
I was just talking about theoretically. I'm not kidding.
I mean, it's important to look at every new game as possible. Like,
it's $50 though. I could just stream a crappy game.
Did it come out? Or
it's out now. It's out. It says out now. It says out now on the eShop. There's a lot of commercials for it online, and I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder when is this coming out? And I looked on the eShop. It's like, it's out now. I watched a trailer on the eShop today, and I saw you could swim through. You could just swim with fish. You could swim with sharks. Swim with whales. Giant sea turtles like the ones we saw at the aquarium. And I was like, this is so cool.
Okay, are you gonna stream it?
I don't want to. I'm under too much pressure right now to think about it. I was just talking as a passing thought. I only talked about it because I thought we didn't have any money.
I mean, we didn't have any money until, I was able to get John's game yesterday because we got our Patreon money yesterday.
I will think. I don't want to make it. I don't want to decide right now.
So, anyway, guys, is the cat game coming out on anything other than the Switch, or is it a Switch exclusive? That's what I want to know. Little cat, big city. It's on Xbox too? Okay, thank you, Jotaro.
Garrett says the Max Fleischer Superman cartoons were incredible. I know just
this Fisher.
Fisher?
I believe that's how you say his name.
Is that what we were talking about?
A while ago, yeah.
I think they're on all on YouTube. If y'all haven't seen them, they're worth watching. Thank you, Garrett. So if you guys want to watch those old Superman serial cartoons we were talking about, Garrett said he believes they're on YouTube.
Yeah, I think there was like 10 or something.
I think you are very cool, says Alex. You're very cool too, Alex. Thank you so much. And yep, exactly. Garrett said he had a person in his class who has ADD and does not realize how smart. Oh, she is. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, I thought I felt something crawling on me. Kind of freaked me out.
The Pirates of Darkwater would be one of the adventure shows to replace Ruby Spears' Superman, says Garrett, ironically.
Yeah, everything goes in fads. So basically, by 1988, if the Ruby Spears Superman show had come out faster, because what killed the Ruby Spears Superman show was Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. Like, Christopher Reeve's last Superman movie killed people's hype for Superman because it was so bad. that people were just kind of like, yeah, superheroes are kind of lame. If it wasn't for Michael Keaton's Batman 89, you know, at the end of 1989, superhero media would have been in big trouble. Because people were kind of growing out of superheroes because they were kind of cheesy and they were, you know, not reflective of the times. And then when Keaton's Batman came on a year after the Ruby Spears Superman was canceled and the, you know, it changed everything. It revitalized superheroes, but it made superheroes darker. Which, you know, kind of gave, it was a good thing. For the most part. Most part of it.
Yeah. And then Garrett said, also, the voice of the main character Ren went on to voice Superman in Justice League.
Yep.
I didn't know that. That's cool, Garrett. Thank you. And then Garrett said that line about, what we were talking about with Dean Cain, where Superman is what he can do and
Clark is
who he is.
Yeah,
He said that's
yeah.
an excellent Superman line.
Yep.
I like Henry Cavill's casting of Superman, but the writing for the Superman and Snyder's missed the idea of Clark Kent who he is while Superman is what he does.
Yeah, it felt like the version that we had in the one that Zack Snyder did. He was doing Kal-El. In fact, a lot of people called him Kal-El. Hardly anybody called him Clark.
I think
in his show or in his movies.
I think that they were trying to show a different perspective of Superman because, like, I feel like a lot of the cartoons, like, we got to know Clark and he was just kind of like, I don't want to say like a dork, but he was just kind of a nerd and like he just was like, you know, oh, that, you know, Boy Scout, and it's like people weren't aware, people couldn't comprehend how powerful he was. Like, he was so humble that the show wasn't exactly showing how powerful he was. And I think, like, Snyder really wanted to show, like, how powerful he was. So, like, he was trying to get away from that idea of Superman being humble and sweet. But maybe that wasn't necessary. Maybe everyone already knows how powerful he is. Maybe everyone gets that.
The problem with what Zack Snyder did is he's already admitted to, like, he was deeply inspired by the Frank Miller version of Batman and Superman, but also he was heavily inspired by the New 52. The New 52 comics really did dark stuff. It was right after it was right after the Flashpoint, which Flashpoint went really dark. And if you go and you read the New 52 Superman, I didn't like New 52 Superman. New 52 Superman was kind of a jerk. He was OP, and he just, like, ran around in a... It was a Grant Morrison version of Superman. He ran around in a t-shirt, a Superman t-shirt, and he had a cape that was kind of like a little kid cape attached to his costume, and he wore blue jeans and, like, combat boots. And it was quite a while before, you know, he actually wore his Superman costume. But the problem is his attitude was not like pre-52 Superman. He wasn't this Superman that was very... down
to earth and humble.
Right, exactly, yeah. And when the Superman, the new, like, animated movies started, it kind of echoed the Zack Snyder universe as well. Like, the new DC animated movies that started in 2013 and ran until 2023. They were very dark, and the Superman was very, very edgy. You know, he cracked jokes, but, like, mean jokes. And it wasn't... he became softer as the series went. Like, I would say The Death and Return of Superman is a very great movie that features that same Superman who ends up with Lois and he does all this other stuff. You know?
Yeah.
He has, like, a complete character change back to how Superman is supposed to be, how Superman's perceived.
Yeah.
But Zack Snyder, unfortunately, was inspired by New 52 Grant Morrison Superman as well as some other stuff, and that Superman was new, and not everybody gravitated to that version of Superman. Like, they didn't like him. They wanted, you know... the outcry for Superman brought back the pre-52 Superman and gave us Jonathan Kent, which was, you know, the son of Superman and Lois.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the New 52 Superman, we never would have gotten Convergence. We never would have gotten Lois and Clark married again and all this other stuff because there was a public outcry over that version of Superman. They didn't like him.
Yeah. I mean, it should kind of like send a message to people that say, oh, everyone likes the New 52, and there's no difference between the original Superman.
A lot of people didn't like the New 52.
And the New 52 is like, for those people, they can see that the New 52 Superman, like, personality was put on screen with Henry Cavill, and everyone hated it.
Mm-hmm.
So in reality, like, that was like the litmus test of, oh, let's see if people actually do like the New 52. Looks like the general audience doesn't like it. They prefer old-fashioned Superman with his humble Midwest charm and humble attitude.
Yeah, so basically, with this version of Superman that you're getting from David Cornsweet, is James Gunn was heavily inspired by Grant Morrison a little bit, but Grant Morrison's later run as Superman, as well as the famous All-Star Superman where Superman has cancer. Like, I'm not saying they're going to give Superman cancer, but he was a very humble, optimistic, happy Superman even though he was dying. That was the whole point of his story, is he had like some type of disease that was irreversible and he was dying. I don't even remember how it happened, but James Gunn is heavily inspired by that optimistic, happy version of Superman. So what you had in Zack Snyder's universe, the problem was you had Frank Miller Batman operating in a New 52 universe, and there was kind of a clash. So you're going to have a Grant Morrison Batman, which the Grant Morrison Batman is the Damian and Batman run. Like, that's Grant Morrison wrote Damian Wayne.
Yeah, okay,
so that's who you're going to see in Batman Brave and the Bold. You're going to have a Grant Morrison-esque Batman working with a all-star Superman.
It's going to be a live-action movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Brave and the Bold?
Brave and the Bold is going to be... It's the first time we're going to have a kid Robin.
Damian in it?
Yes, Damian is coming into the cinematic universe along with the Bat Family.
When does that happen?
2026, 2027.
Oh my god.
Superman is first. And they haven't even cast Batman yet. No one knows who's going to play Batman. The top contenders to play Batman are Jensen Ackles, Alan, what's his name, and John Hamm and one other. Like, we won't be getting Ben Affleck back to do that.
Oh, thank you for sharing the short on Reddit and other places, Captain Zach. Appreciate that very much.
Yeah, you guys did great with the short, actually. You did really, really good.
Well, that's going to be very interesting to see Damian in live action. I'm very excited about that.
Yep, in the Batman Brave and the Bold movie, you're probably going to have Talia. You'll have Batman, Damian, Nightwing, probably Batgirl or Oracle will make an appearance, probably Ra's al Ghul, and some other characters. Maybe the Court of Owls. We don't know, because if he's doing the Grant Morrison run, the Grant Morrison Batman did interact with the Court of Owls a little bit, but also he interacted with some other weird villains. But the Grant Morrison run for Batman and Robin essentially was Dick Grayson and as Batman, Damian as Robin.
Yeah, I think everyone can agree though, like, that, you know, Dean Cain did a great job of looking macho and also humble at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everyone can agree that if Henry Cavill was given the correct script, he could have done the same. Maybe not as great as Dean Cain, but, you know, of course, because Dean Cain was like one of the breakthroughs of live actions. But, I mean, maybe he could have done it better than Dean Cain. I guess he never was given the chance.
I think that we're going to see Henry Cavill back as Superman, but I think he's going to play an older Superman. I still think that DC's plan is to build up to some type of crisis or multiverse story. And I think we'll see Ben and we'll see Henry and some other older characters come back as, like, Kingdom Come. Because on James Gunn's desk, like, when he became president, he had certain Grant Morrison books. He also had Kingdom Come. And he hasn't talked at all about the Kingdom Come project yet, because Gods and Monsters is his first chapter. So I believe that he is leading up to a Kingdom Come scenario eventually. And the people who are of age in a couple years to play those roles would be Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, things like that. You know, because those are older characters. They're in their, like, 50s and 60s.
Mm-hmm.
It would make sense. You're not going to bring Keaton back to play Kingdom Come Batman. you're going to want someone around that same age.
Yeah, exactly. So. I think it's nice that the fans of DC are able to separate, like, and realize that it's not Henry Cavill's fault because he was just reading his lines, really. And he couldn't read lines that weren't in the script.
What I'm personally hopeful for, I hope that we get an Elseworlds movie, a standalone for Kingdom Come universe, before it's, like, you know, thrown into, like, a ensemble movie. I think it would be good to give the fans, like, some type of really awesome Justice League movie with the old cast, you know, inspired by the Kingdom Come universe to build up to the crossover. I think it would be a bad idea to have, like, what DC normally does with their crossovers, just kind of throw all the characters into one thing. I think that they should have their own type of, like, ensemble film first, you know, to establish the Kingdom Come universe, or if they play the Crime Syndicate or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
To kind of introduce those characters before they appear in a big ensemble movie with David Cornsquet and their other, you know, their Avengers type thing.
Yeah, but I think they're, I mean, I don't want to.
But it's DC, so they probably will just rush everything.
Yeah, there is a. It's like there's a timeline. If there is a real multiverse, then there's one version of our Earth that they do it right. Maybe there's one Earth where they can actually get the movie right, and all the other Earths they get it wrong. They rush everything and ruin it.
The one thing I was excited about after learning for. Not James Gunn, for Snyder's vision, aside from some of the weird stuff, he actually had a plan that made it look like Darkseid was the big bad, but the person behind the scenes pulling all the strings was going to be the Reverse Flash. So
my gosh!
Reverse Flash was going to have a big role.
Oh my gosh, such a missed opportunity.
Yep, which was going to lead into the Flash movie that they were already planning, even back then, to reboot the universe.
Oh my gosh! He must have been a fan of the Flash CW show then.
No, he was a fan of Flashpoint.
Oh, wow.
Zack Snyder really liked Flashpoint. He liked Frank Miller. But I mean, the thing that Warner Brothers didn't... the problem with Zack Snyder and Warner Brothers, like the too many cooks in the kitchen, is Zack Snyder always planned on nuking his universe. That was always the plan. Darkseid was going to come in the second movie or the third movie and wreak havoc, and then the Justice League would come together, the remaining surviving Justice League, and defeat Darkseid. But the villain who was going to be behind the scenes leading into Flash's movie, that was going to be a reboot of everything anyway, was going to be the Reverse Flash. And we know that because of drafts of the original film from previous directors of the Flash, because there was more than one Flash director. The Flash was in limbo for so long, right? That we know that the Reverse Flash was going to play a big role in Zack Snyder's final movie, as well as in the Flash's movie that was going to act as kind of like a soft reboot. So if Warner Brothers actually would have let, you know, Zack Snyder do his original vision, by like the 2018 or 2019, 2020, the world would have been reset anyway. It would have been like 2013 to 2020, you know, but they just couldn't stand his vision, and they just went so bizarre, you know?
Yeah.
That, because Zack was never planning on world building. That's the problem.
Yeah, he was just going to do his idea and then get it over and be done with it.
Right. He was going to do his thing, and then he was going to reset his toy box. And, you know, Warner Brothers didn't like that because they were trying to compete with Marvel, and they wanted to have their own, like, you know, 10, 20-year universe.
And
that's not what Zack was there for. Zack was there to make a epic Lord of the Rings saga and then pass the baton to someone else.
I mean, the fact that James Gunn, who was working at Marvel, is now working for DC shows they are trying to world build now.
Oh, yeah, they are world building now. But I think that they're world building too much, because James Gunn has basically taken all the Elseworlds movies and other universes and he's ending them. Like, it was his idea to do Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is like that 3-part animated film that is basically going to end all the other DC universes that we've seen over the past like 40 years. And either he's going to merge everything into one world, or, like, you know, he's going to keep some Earth separate for, like, Elseworlds movies. Because, remember, we're going to have shared movie universe, and then we're going to have Elseworld projects that aren't really necessarily connected. Like, the Batman is part of DC Elseworlds. Like, the Robert Pattinson is not the mainline Batman. he is an Elseworlds character. They've already said that.
I mean, I'm curious to see. I mean, it's like resetting it to Fortnite Chapter 1, where they just put it down to bare bones and they got rid of everything. Maybe that's what he's trying to do, is like, let's simplify everything. Let's start out with the main character that used to be from DC. What was the first character? Superman. And they're starting from literally the drawing board. And then, so, like, if people are going to come in now and have never even heard of a comic book character, they'll be caught up with everyone else. So then we're starting everything over. Yeah, I mean, if it's well done, like, that's kind of like me when I'm doing too much on my Photoshop file, and it looks pretty good, but it's kind of gaudy. I just reset the entire thing and start over. Sometimes that works for me. Maybe that's what he's doing. Like,
I don't know.
Let's start over completely. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting.
It's interesting to think about. I mean, no one knows what James Gunn's plan is other than his Gods and Monsters. And his Creature Commando show is coming out sometime this fall, I think. And that technically is the first episode in this new universe. So it'll have Amanda Waller in it. It'll have some other characters. But people make fun of him because he is keeping some of his characters that he's had in his shows are coming back. And the other characters, you know, he got rid of. Like, he got rid of the main Batman, Superman, and all that other stuff. But he's bringing back his lesser characters like John Cena and Vigilante and all those characters. Amanda Waller, the characters that appeared in his Suicide Squad and his Peacemaker show and stuff like that. All those characters are going to be around. And it's weird. It's like, if you're going to reboot a universe, you need to recast everyone. You need to start over again. Because, you know, having some characters come back, if they play different characters, that's fine, because there has been multiverse stories where you've seen other characters, you know, as different heroes or villains, but it's their face on another character. That's always interesting about multiverse stuff. But,
well, I mean, to be honest, if I was him, I'd probably do the same thing, because it'd be too scary to completely start over. I would have like a few people that I knew were in my corner that I could lean on, a few minor characters. I could understand why he would do it, because it would be very scary to start the entire DC cinematic universe completely over. Like, that would be scary. I don't know. Because, like, if you mess up then, it's like you really screwed up. There's nothing else to fall back on. You already canceled all the extra multiverse. You have nothing. Yeah, so it's a lot of pressure. So I guess that's why, I don't know. It's like, oh, well, I'm just gonna... Especially, it might be hard to work with certain actors. If he knows there's certain actors he's used to working with, then he already has them. I don't know.
Yeah, but I always go back to what he said. He said Henry Cavill isn't playing his main Superman. Like, so when he said that,
his main Superman.
Yeah, he won't be the main Superman in the universe. Like, he's, you know, been very adamant about that, but he never said that Henry Cavill won't be back to play Superman.
Yeah, and I missed some comments, but it was kind of... Garrett says, I like what they did with the Crime Syndicate in this game. I love what they did with the Crime Syndicate.
This is one of my favorite Crime Syndicates, yeah.
It was a fun way to have the villains fighting the Justice League. Definitely, Garrett. Yeah, so, like, yeah, like King Newcon, or that might be, yeah, kind of cool if they did something like this. Lego always does it best. Lego does what DC Cinematic Universe don't.
Well, technically, the Lego universe, this is all part of the DC multiverse.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm surprised that Lego Batman hasn't shown up on Crisis on Infinite Earths yet, because it's all connected.
OH had an interesting question earlier, but my screen scrolled down. I believe his question was, when I read it, was, what is the I forgot what I'm sorry, OH. You had an interesting question, like, what is the worst, like, version of a... well, I can't remember it. I'm so sorry. Something about gaming, like, different versions of Superman, or, I don't know.
DC, Superman's had a lot of bad
DC
games.
characters in general in games, like the worst DC thing in a game.
Unfortunately, Superman has had one of the worst games of all time. He just has.
We had to pay for the ice cream, says Jacob Langlet. Yeah, the ice cream got... I know, we didn't pay for it, I don't think.
Ice cream?
That got hit on our face earlier. Johnny Quick is voiced by Telltale Batman Games Joker voice actor, says John Doe.
Oh, wow.
I loved Reverse Flash in this game because he is the voice from Flashpoint movie, says Garrett.
Yes, he is, but he's playing like a kid-friendly version of him.
Oh, interesting. So he's from a not very kid-friendly movie.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Kind of how we saw Will, I forgot what his name was, who played the Arrow in a very dark Arrow, and then he was a Lego. He played his Lego version. That was kind of like a similar idea. Who here saw the trailer for Lego Stars Rebuild the Galaxy? Said Sharon.
I have not seen it. Is it by 2K?
When you were talking about the Batman, how to become Batman, Alex the Lone Ronin says, I am learning so much about fighting tactics, and I'm trying to learn some engineering so I can be a vigilante. I wouldn't care if I died if I could save someone, says Alex. Well, I mean, I'm sure that person would be very thankful, and it would be very heroic, but, I mean, it would be, we wouldn't want you to get hurt, Alex, but I mean, I can understand, like, feeling so heroic that you would actually risk your life to save somebody like that. But I don't know, that would be, I mean, it'd be scary, it would be pretty scary. You don't know who you're gonna face out there, but that's pretty...
Go get the treadmill from Star Labs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very noble of you, Alex.
Oops, I missed something here too.
He needs
We're
more
gonna have to do this level again too, but we're gonna start the running thing. So basically, I missed the section that I was supposed to do.
Send them home.
Batman always has stubble in this game.
Well, yeah, because this is a different, like, this is not the Lego Batman that is from Lego Batman 2 and 3. Lego Batman from 2 and 3 is voiced by Troy Baker. This is another, this is why they were building up to a Crisis game, is because this is a completely different Lego universe.
Oh, wow.
It's not the same one.
What you doing, Racket?
You don't think that's what the crime syndicate was looking for? The mother box Johnny Quick mentioned?
I thought they were looking for the Antes Light convention.
Because Darkseid appeared in the Lego Batman 3 game, I believe.
What did you do to my Foxy?
If that was a mother box, I think the
This is supposed to be a different Lego DC universe. It's not the main line.
What does that mean?
It means that now we have the power.
Because all the characters are voiced by different actors. Also, if you look at Batman's costume is the DC Rebirth costume. Whereas the Batman costume from Lego Batman 2 and 3, like, they're going with, like, more Jim Lee style Batman costume. So he's kind of inspired by Ben Affleck and the DC Rebirth. That's why he's got that yellow outline over his bat emblem. So we got to do that again.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that, Luke. And I was just wondering, I wonder how many different versions of Batman, like Kevin Conroy actually voiced.
Oh, how many versions of Kevin Conroy has been like the most multiverse Batman ever.
And he probably is very aware every time he voices a different Batman that he's a different Batman.
No. He just, like, every time he voiced Batman, like, they just told him to do the Batman voice, and he would try to do something different because it was like, well, this is an animated Batman, this is something else, so I'm gonna do this with my performance or something like that. So maybe he kind of was aware, but when we talked to him about, like, him playing other Batman, he was kind of like, huh? So,
oh, wow, so it just, because he has so much heart in his performance, it feels, it's like, it is like the multiverse where you would be you, but in a different universe. So it's Kevin Conroy, but in a different suit, and in different lines, and in a different scenario.
Mm-hmm. But,
Yeah.
I mean, let's see if I can do this. Kevin is
Really?
at least
Yes, thank you. Clark Kent,
9
where
different
are you
multiverse
then?
Batman.
On another planet?
He's played 9 different versions of the
phrase,
character.
Clark.
Maybe more. I'm gonna see if I can do them off the top of my head once Lois is done
Why
talking.
do I sound
Can't
worried?
skip.
Because you've been off work and there are suspicious
There we go. Now I
heroes
can
flying
skip.
around.
We're gonna
and an
skip the
alien
cutscene in the
planet
Justice League as well because we don't need it. And then off the top of my head, I'm gonna see if I can do it. So, we're Owlman because people want to see Owlman.
Yeah, someone requested Owlman, so here we are.
We have to do this level again because I messed up. But so multiverse Batman. Let's start with animated because animated's easiest. All right, so the first universe Batman, that's connected. Animated series Batman goes all the way through Batman the Animated Series, Justice League, and Batman Beyond. So that's all one universe Batman. That's one. He then played Batman in Batman Superman Public Enemies. That's 2. He played Batman in Gotham Knight. He played 5 different versions of Batman. That's all technically part of Chris Nolan's universe, but it ended up being different multiverse stories later on is what DC said. So he played 5 different Batman in that one. Because each time Batman had a different costume, even though it was supposed to be connected to the Bale universe, but it never was connected. It started out as kind of like, hey, these are fun anime Batman stories that we're going to connect to Bale's universe, but Bale, we couldn't get him to do the voice. He didn't want to.
Oh, wow.
Probably because he was busy doing the game or something. No one really knows. But he didn't do it. So then, instead of it being like an interconnected storyline, that they never made the different things happen and add them to the Nolanverse, it became kind of like 5 little small Elseworld stories. Each one with a different Batman, a different suit, and a different villain.
Yeah, I remember that anime.
Right, so he played 5 different versions of Batman in that movie. So then you had Public Enemies, you had the Gotham Knights movie, then you had Batman Superman Apocalypse. That was another Batman. He did not play Batman in Crisis on 2 Earths. He didn't do that. He was going to, but they didn't. His next role was in, I believe The Mystery of Batwoman is also in a separate universe. It's not connected to the animated universe at all. So it's like a branched reality of Batman the Animated Series, but it's not connected at all. Even though Batgirl calls Batman, Bruce Timm has never said where it is in the timeline, because it's, it's just kind of there. And the Batwoman character is never mentioned during the Justice League show or anything like that, or in the Justice League comics based on the show. So people are always kind of like, well, where does this movie take place in continuity? It's kind of like the Nightwing and Harley Quinn movie. It's inspired by Bruce Timm's universe, but it's not connected. It's like kind of like an offshoot.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
So you would have to count that as like, okay, that's not connected. Let's see, what else did he did? I did Batman, Superman, Public Enemies, Batman, Superman, Apocalypse. Justice League Action is a completely different universe. He's Batman in that. What else? The Killing Joke is a separate universe. He's Batman in that. Justice League Doom is a separate universe, but it was originally made as a movie for the Justice League animated series, because it brings back most of the principal cast.
Okay.
But it's a separate universe. He appeared in the Scooby-Doo thing as a separate Batman. He appeared in DC Shorts as a separate Batman. He's been at least 15 or 20 different multiverse Batman. He was Arkham Batman.
Oh, right, yeah, the Arkham Batman.
Yep. The Rise of Sin Tzu and the Batman Vengeance games are all connected to the animated series universe. They're not multiverse.
Yeah, they're the same Batman as Batman the Animated Series. Which, when we talked to Kevin Conroy when we met him, we mentioned Rise of Sin Tzu, I think, and I think he thought that was another Batman the Animated Series episode.
He thought Vengeance and Rise of Sin Tzu were different episodes, yes. Because he was like, oh, I remember doing that episode. It's like, that was a game. He was like, oh, really? He says, well, they just had us in the booth and, kind of told us, think of this as like another episode of the show.
Oh, I see, yeah.
But he says, we weren't doing an ensemble thing. He was always fascinated to talk about, his performance and stuff like that. He loved talking about the character and just stuff like that. So he said, when he did the video games he's always separated from everybody. Like,
yeah, oh, I see.
They're in rooms by themselves.
It's not an ensemble.
No, they don't all record together.
But he still sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, so we have to do the mirror mask.
You know, I was just thinking when you were talking about all those different Batman that I was thinking about when, you know, I kind of gave Kevin Conroy a hard time when he was, because I liked Bale Batman, and he was like talking about his voice and
oh, he was always making fun of Bale.
What was he thinking? And I just realized why he said that just now, because if you think of it, I think the reason why he could say that is because he probably put a tremendous amount of thought into getting his Batman versus Bruce Wayne correct.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think he did it better than anyone. He set the standard for it, and I think he really thought about it, and he didn't want it to make it dumb. Like, he could have messed up Batman the Animated Series and made it, you know, he could have made it terrible, but he didn't. Batman was a real personality, and Bruce Wayne was a real personality. Like, a real voice, like, you could listen to. Like, Batman, like, he talked to people as if he was like, you couldn't tell they were the same person, but they were the same person. Like, that was amazing how he did that. I mean, I wonder if he had not gone to Juilliard or whatever. I think he was at Juilliard. I thought he was in some kind of famous school for acting. If he had not been to that famous
he went to Juilliard, yep.
If he had not been to that famous school, I don't think he could have made it sound like that. I think it's his training. I think it was his excellent training that brought us that.
So, according to Google, these are the different Batmen that he's played, okay? So, Mask of the Phantasm, Batman Beyond, Batman Beyond movie, Justice League, Batman vs. Superman, like all that stuff, that's all the same Batman. So you have to count that as DC AU Batman. Killing Joke, 2016, different Batman. Assault on Arkham is a Batman Arkham multiverse story, or Elseworlds. It's not connected to the games. Never was, never will be. But that is Kevin Conroy playing the voice. The Flashpoint movie, he's in it at the very beginning because they're passing the baton on to a new, Batman actor. Mm-hmm. Like, Flashpoint was the end of the DC animated. They didn't really have a shared universe, though. They just had, like, so many different DC films. And then they built up to a connected universe where you had that Irish guy play Batman or something. Jeremy something. I forget his name, but I didn't like his performance as Batman. He was very bland as Batman. I didn't like it. It was not one of my favorite Batman at all. I grew to tolerate his Batman voice over time. Like the guy who played him in the continuity universe, the one where all the movies were connected from Justice League War all the way through the Apocalypse final thing.
Yeah.
And he played animated movie Batman longer than Kevin did, because Kevin appeared in a lot of animated Batman movies. But this was a guy that, he was Batman for 10 years, like in a streamline of continuity films. Whereas Kevin played different Batman in, like, one-off movies.
Oh, that's very...
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's very cute. Captain Zach says, maybe you guys should do a video on everything you guys are talking about for the Nightwing 01 channel. That's very sweet, Captain Zach. I think I would forget everything I was talking about. But that's very sweet. Maybe some of the topics we're talking about, we could do a video for Nightwing 01.
Stay in this area and destroy everything, if you can. This is what I missed out on last time. This is what I made a mistake on. Like, I skipped out on this entire section.
Hi, John Anthony. You just changed your name. Okay, Mario Bros. Ant TV. Yeah, so... Yep, exactly. To me, the whole point of Superman is that he's powerful, but his humility keeps him from going too far, says Garrett. Zod is supposed to represent how Superman would be if he would use all his power and be arrogant. I feel the same way, Garrett. Okay, so, I'm sorry, what am I supposed to be doing here? What was I supposed to do? Oh, just...
Google has it wrong, though. They're adding, like, tons of Batman things that he was never a part of. So that's a problem.
Yeah, I think your list is very... Oh, yeah, so the topic. Maybe that could be an well, I don't know if it would be hit too hard. for people, but a topic about how many different multiverse Batman was Kevin Conroy actually in.
All right, so I'm going to do it.
Would be an interesting Nightwing 01 topic. I agree, Captain Zach. Yeah. That would be an interesting.
But I'm just going to continue. So we have Arkham Batman, one universe. Multiverse Batman, another universe. That's Kevin. Batwoman, live action show, different Batman, same Kevin. So that's that'd be. Is that 3? Arkham, Multiverse, Batwoman. That's 3. Scooby-Doo, Guess Who is a different Batman. That's 4. Justice League versus Fatal 5 is not connected to the Justice League animated series. It's a tribute movie, but it's not the same. So that would be 5. That's a different Batman. It's an Elseworld. Welcome to the Wayne. I don't know what that is. That's a Welcome to the Wayne. What is that? No, that's not a Bruce Wayne thing. Never mind. That's a hotel. He was in that show. That's not. So we're at 5 multiverse Batman. Teen Titans Go is a different Batman. That's 6. Lego DC Supervillains. That's 7. Justice League Action. That's 8. Multiverse Batman. Batman and Harley Quinn. That's 9. Injustice. That's 10. Batman the Killing Joke. That's 11. Justice League Battle for Metropolis 4D, that's 12. He wasn't in Infinite Crisis. I don't know why they have Infinite Crisis. Oh yeah, Infinite Crisis video game, that's 13. Batman Strange Days, that's 14. Tales of Metropolis, that's 15. Justice League Flashpoint Paradox, that's 16. DC Universe Online, that's 17. Justice League Doomed, that's 18. Batman Arkham City Lockdown is not connected to the Arkham universe. That's an Elseworld, so that would be 19. Superman versus Superman Batman Apocalypse would be 20. Batman Brave and the Bold, he played Batman of Zur-En-Aw, that's 21. Batman Superman Public Enemies, that's 22. Batman Gotham Knights is 23. Did we do BTAS yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, BTS would be 24. The Complete Robin story sequence would be 25. Static Shock would be considered part of the DCAU, so that's fine. Batman Mystery of Batwoman, that's kind of... it could be an Elseworlds, it could be connected, but I'm going to say that's 26. Batman Gotham City, this is all DCAU. I think that's it. So he has played 26 different versions of Batman.
Wow.
Yes.
That would make an interesting video.
He's played 26 different versions of Batman. He's the only one.
And I think it is amazing how he was in the Batman the Animated Series. How Kevin Conroy was able to actually, like Batman, he can talk in, like, you know, like different tones. He can change his tone of voice as Batman. He can be happy, sad, you know, worried, everything as Batman. He's a complete person as Batman. And then there's this alter ego, Bruce Wayne, that has a completely different voice with different inflections and stuff. So he's doing 2 different characters within one character, which is something nobody was able to do. You know, Ben Affleck had to use a voice modifier. He didn't sound human as Batman, and Bruce Wayne, you know, darn it, Bale definitely didn't sound like a human being as Batman. It didn't sound like a believable human being you could talk to. When Kevin Conroy was talking as Batman, he sounded gruff, but he sounded like a person. It was Batman, which is, no one has ever been able to match that. Ever. Except for, I would say, but of course, Troy Baker did a good job as Lego Batman, but he was kind of doing a parody of Batman.
He's also Telltale Batman.
Yeah, so I think of Troy Baker as the Lego Batman, but of course we didn't get to hear Troy Baker's Bruce Wayne voice because he doesn't have one. So yeah, Kevin Conroy still holds that. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah. Technically, I mean, most people would say, well, you know, Assault on Arkham is still Arkham, but it's like, it's an Arkham, you know, Elseworlds, just like I view, or at least we'll probably find out that the Suicide Squad is part of the Arkham multiverse, because Arkham has its own multiverse with 13 different versions of Arkham, because you're not going to be going to other multiverse universes in the DC universe. There's 13 Brainiacs that conquered 13 universes, but those 13 universes all seem like they're connected to Arkham in some capacity.
Yeah.
And you're not going to go to Injustice, you're not going to go to Justice League Action, you're not going to go to BTAS.
Yeah.
You know, it's a 13 universes within their universe.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking that actually Michael Keaton kind of had a Batman voice that sort of sounded human. But it was like like I'm crazy, don't mess with me, like kind of voice. Whereas Kevin Conroy's Batman was the definitive Batman voice because he sounded, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but he kind of sounded like so alpha male, like in control, not mean, but very gruff and just very businesslike and just very like the way like an army commander would sound who had to, you know, all these troops and people, a voice of authority, you know, like, so he just did a fantastic job on that.
Yep.
Again, unmatched.
Ah, okay, that's annoying. We have to take Poison Ivy down here, but they keep propelling us out of here. Oh, okay, yeah, that's annoying. I don't like that. Stop doing that, game. Stop doing that. Okay, here we go.
He's the greatest voice actor ever, says Big Man JC. Yep.
Well, he played the role. If you think about all the times, like I grew up hearing Kevin as Batman from the time I was 10 years old until I was literally 40. Like, he was the Batman of my entire life. Through the video games, TV, radio, commercials, like, he always played the role. Kevin was, like, never too busy even to do, like, when Batman the Animated Series was brought onto syndication for other channels, like, he would do the bumper voices. Like, we now return to Batman on the hub, or something, you know, he would come in and he would provide the voice to, like, add, like, okay, Batman is now on this cable station, or something like that. He always did that. As well as he was never too busy to do the Fox Kids bumpers, you know, stuff like that. And the Kids WB and the Cartoon Network stuff. Like, he loved the character, and also, like,
yeah,
you know, he kept doing stuff.
It did feel like Kevin Conroy was more willing to do all these Batman, like, extra things that other actors were like, I'm too good to do this, you know. Christian Bale didn't have time, and then Kevin Conroy took it over and did it 10 trillion times better than Christian Bale could have ever hoped to do it. It's just interesting that he was a very humble person. Even when we met Kevin Conroy, the fact that all the other voice actors there that were actually less famous than him took their entire lunch break, and he only took part of his lunch break so he could make sure the fans didn't have to wait when he was the most famous person there. If anyone would take his whole lunch break, it would have been him, but he didn't even take his whole break so he could make sure he was there for his fans. It's like, what kind of person does this? Like, unbelievable.
It's kind of interesting, too, if you think about the Injustice thing. The Injustice animated universe, basically, or not the animated universe, the Injustice video game has 2 different versions of Batman, like from 2 different multiverses. Some could argue that the Batman that they have is the mainland universe, where Nightwing and company is still alive, and then the Regime universe is another thing. So technically in that game, he's playing 2 different versions of Batman. It's not Injustice Batman, it's Batman mainline universe interacting with Injustice
you're right.
Batman.
I see what you're saying. He was playing 2 different characters. And he has that ability to do it so subtly that, like, say I was playing myself and my doppelganger for another Earth, I would be almost the same, but not quite. Like, you know, my voice would be almost the same, but I might have different inflections if I came from a different Earth, but it would still be me. So yeah, that's really interesting he's able to do that. Yeah, you're right. It would be... I'm sure he was aware that he was playing 2 different versions.
Hey, GameWing, what am I supposed to do here now that we've done the thing? That lady isn't doing much. Is there something else we're supposed to do in there? Like, we did the picture. What else is there to do? Because we're missing 2 mini-kits and the hidden character. I don't know where the hidden character is. Because if I go up there, I'm going to progress the story. If I stay in this area, this is bad. I'm pretty sure the hidden character is down here in this area. Unless there's another area.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, it's like, I think Batman the Animated Series and 80s Optimus Prime both had that warmth and sternness at the same time in their voice.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, you can't really find people that are able to do that kind of voice.
I mean, technically, yeah, when he voiced Robot Batman, yeah, he voiced killer sentient robot Batman, that's true. So, I guess he's played 27 different versions of Batman then.
Yeah.
Or close to 30.
I can write that down as a topic idea if you ever feel like doing that.
That would be interesting.
27 versions of Batman, and we'll just have to rewatch this video to remember what they were.
Oh, I already know.
We're actually on episode 26 of Lego Batman. I'll write it down.
The Speedster section is... Are we done in this level then? Are we done here? Because if we're done, I'll go do the Speedster section again.
It's like, sometimes, you know, I feel like with extremely talented people, like, you hear them say something and I think, oh, that's weird. Why would he say that, you know, Christian Bale could have done the voice different? And then it dawns on me, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knew how much work it was, because he did it himself. He was able to do it right, so he can perceive when somebody else is doing it wrong, because he can tell what they're doing wrong, because it took him so much work to actually get that correct.
Yep. What I loved about the older DC animated movies, which I wish they would go back to doing this, is the problem I had with the mainline continuity DC films from like 2013 through 2023. They all look the same. Same problem I have with the Tomorrowverse is the Tomorrowverse all looks the same. When you do that, you miss out on the unique art styles of some of these famous comic books. Like when you go and you watch Batman, Superman, Public Enemies, it's using the art style that's from that comic book. When you watch Superman Apocalypse, it's using that signature art style. Same thing. When you watched Flashpoint, they used the similar art style that Flashpoint had in that comic book crossover. So it gave each DC world its own gritty uniqueness. And then when you did these shared continuity films like the Tomorrowverse and the New 52 universe, they all had the sameness to them. And DC works really well with Elseworld storylines when those Elseworld storylines reflect the source material that they're about. And that's why I've always enjoyed the different like Elseworld stories, like Under the Red Hood with Bruce Greenwood, and, you know, Kevin Conroy's like Justice League Doom, and Superman Apocalypse, Superman Batman Public Enemies. Like, they all had that, like, flair. Even The Killing Joke is based on Alan Moore's art style. And The Killing Joke movie was terrible, but it still had that, you know, this is what this is based on.
Yeah, I noticed some of the newer DC like animated films, like they all had the exact same style of animation. I was like, well, this is kind of weird. Like right when you were saying that, I was thinking, because there's a difference between, you know, like DC is about like literally like gods and stuff like this with enormous power, and then you have Marvel, which is more supposed to be about, there are people with superpowers, but many of them have things that make them more relatable to people. So, you know, you have Spider-Man and he has, you know, this job and everything. So it's like DC and Marvel have different theme ideas. And so it's like with Marvel, it's like that whole idea of being in a shared universe box works. And I think people don't know how to deal with DC because DC is like out of the box.
Yes,
like
you.
it's always busting out of the box, like of the
been?
shared
On
universe.
another planet?
You can't contain it because there's always going to be something, you know.
Yep. The problem that I had with when they incorporated
We should have set up here in the first place.
some of the later DC films, like Batman Hush, for example. Batman Hush should have been Jim Lee's art style. Like, Batman Hush was a very important storyline that they threw into the shared continuity universe, and they shouldn't have done that. The Long Halloween movie should have reflected the art style of the Long Halloween, but they connected it to the Tomorrowverse, which was that Superman Man of Tomorrow movie that came out in, let's see, what year was that movie? That movie was 2020 or something like that. You know? It just, it didn't have that same, it was missing that identity that people are like, oh wow, we're gonna see the Long Halloween movie and it's gonna, you know, have that style.
It doesn't have the same feel. It doesn't have the same feel to the story if it's not animated in the same style that the comic book was animated in. Because it loses the feel because your animation is different. Which is interesting because you would think that watching the cutscenes from this Lego game would lose some of the feeling for what you're listening to and the voices and the music. But somehow, Traveler's Tales is able to transcend that whole idea and still give you the feel of what's going on, even though it doesn't seem corny. It doesn't. They can do dramatic scenes with Legos where you're like, wow, what are they? Oh my gosh, they got out of that. And they're Legos. You don't think like, oh, it's just Legos. It's like a baby game. No, it's amazing voice acting. Music is amazing. The story is amazing. Somehow Traveler's Tales is able to like break the rules and make it exciting, like, which is unreal.
I'm doing my best not to pass him, so that I can.
Yeah, but for building the animated movie that is supposed to have the look and feel of the comic, if you change the animation style, it's going to be completely different.
All right, we got the thing, guys. Where's the hidden character? Where's the hidden character? I don't want to catch him. They're gonna make me catch him soon, and I don't want to.
Now I got you.
Darn it. Well, we got the mini kit. I have no idea where the hidden character
Let's
is.
be reasonable here.
We got the mini kit.
How about I give you your old job back?
Too late for that now. Tell me what you're up to.
We did get the mini kit.
You wouldn't hurt me.
Yeah, Garrett was saying he agrees with that.
I mean, I think the Long Halloween movie was a good adaptation, but they didn't do the art style of the Long Halloween.
Yeah, Garrett says, Long Halloween is my favorite comic book of all time. I enjoyed the movie, but I really missed the art style. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then, I mean, that's why, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it's saying the last mini kit is here, but I don't know where it is.
Yeah, thank you, Garrett.
Now, I mean, yeah, I missed that. I missed that core identity because when they did, Kevin wasn't in this movie, but when they did the Batman Year One, which is a fantastic movie, and they did Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, those movies wouldn't have that much of a cultural significance if they didn't reflect the art style that they were famous for, and they did. Like one of my favorite animated movies is Batman Year One because like it's based on Frank Miller's comic. It has that look.
And
like,
it looks like it. Yeah.
Right, and The Dark Knight Returns also is using that signature look for that dark deco book.
Yeah.
So I like it when they do some of these things. And I understand they do it for budget reasons and stuff like now, but like when DC used to make animated films, for me they peaked a long time ago, and like 2013 through 2023 were all the same. 2020 through 2024 were all the same. It was like they were trying to do this shared continuity thing, and then they were incorporating famous storylines to make those characters more popular, like when they did The Long Halloween using Jensen Ackles' Batman, which was fantastic. It was a great movie.
Yeah.
But it was missing its visual identity. It was just stripped away. Like, this is all part of that shared universe.
Yeah, it's like in Marvel, I feel like even before they did the Marvel like universe where everything was cohesively put together with the movies for 10 years. Even before that, I felt like Marvel was more cohesive, like together. Like everyone kind of knew Spider-Man knows this person, and everyone kind of gets who everyone is in Marvel. And then DC is always keeping you guessing. Like they're always like, oh, this is like it's like each movie is a surprise in its own work of art. Like you know, like doesn't fit, you don't know, like I don't know how to explain it, but you know, to enjoy a DC movie, you don't have to actually know what you're watching it. You're surprised, and you're just like, wait, I didn't know Batman was gonna do that. You know, like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like watching that Frank Miller like what you said, the Year One, like that was nothing like I was used to watching for Batman the Animated Series.
Nope.
But I knew Batman from his pointy ears.
Yep.
That's the only thing I could recognize in that. Everyone else I couldn't recognize in that movie. Commissioner Gordon was acting different, more tough than I was used to. The whole world was acting different. The people were acting different.
Yep.
The music was different. The art style was different. And I almost felt like I wasn't watching Batman at all. The Batman I know, Batman the Animated Series, but it's like DC people are used to kind of hanging onto their seats and like, okay, I'm in for a bumpy ride. I'm pretty sure the character I know is in here somewhere. I just have to find them. And then
dig through the surface. Yeah.
So it's like, I think DC viewers are kind of used to that. Mm-hmm. Like, so it's like when they try to copy Marvel and they try to like make this like cohesive like universe that everyone knows who everyone is. Deadpool knows Spider-Man, and Spider-Man knows, you know, everybody. It's like we can't do that in DC because DC has a different method for how they like introduce characters and like story. Instead of introducing them right out, everything is more cryptic in DC. Like everything is more hidden. It's different the way they do it, I feel. It's my personal opinion.
I hated how they ruined Hush. Like, I did not like how they ruined Hush. By making the Riddler Hush was stupid. Like, that completely ruined the character, and it just, like... I understand what they were trying to do. They were kind of like, oh, okay, well, we need to keep people guessing on who the Hush is, and it's like... But they should have built up the story about Thomas Elliot, like, because he was Hush. Like, the Riddler had his own identity and had an important role in the Hush story, but they ruined it.
Yeah, I think that's where DC people like Warner Bros. And stuff get off track. Is I don't know why, but I think DC viewers enjoy suspense. We want to figure it out. We want to keep guessing. We don't want to know everything that's going on. We're excited about seeing this new world, and maybe we don't recognize any of these people yet, but we're just going to keep watching because we're loyal DC fans. That's kind of what I feel like, and then they kind of like drag DC fans, you know, they're dragging us along until they're going to reveal something super exciting, and then when that exciting thing is lame, then we're really disappointed because, you know, we were really waiting. That we are willing to deal with the suspense, but then if the outcome is something terrible and you ruin it, then we're really mad because it's like you know, we like the suspense as long as because we feel like it should be worth it at the end. Like it's gonna be worth it. Like it's gonna be something.
The thing is, there's so many really cool art styles for Batman, like that they could have used. Like the way that Batman looked in the New 52 with the Court of Owls, they kind of incorporated that for the Batman and Son, but they missed out on that really great style that, you know, Scott Snyder was doing. And then also you had like the DC Rebirth had like a very unique style to it. And when these different people come in and they interpret like a visual change to Batman, I believe that should be reflected in the films that they release, because that's an important part of DC's identity. Is they're very, very artistic. Like the style changes over time. Whereas Marvel, I've picked up Marvel comics from the 90s and Marvel comics from the 80s, and they all had a very similar style for like decade after decade. And that's great. I mean, that works.
They're great at branding, and that's why people are able to know.
It works for Marvel in that sense. But DC, I feel like DC, like when they change up the style every 5 or 10 years, you know, it makes it more interesting. It's like my favorite run for DC as a shared whole was when they incorporated Jim Lee's art style, which is what the X-Men did in the 90s. Like Jim Lee was the X-Men style for at least 7 years, something like that.
Oh, so the X-Men animated show was actually based off somewhat of Jim Lee's style?
Yes, whereas I think, I'm trying to remember what the art style the Pride of the X-Men was based on. I don't know if Neil Adams did the X-Men. It had like a Neil Adams-esque style to it, like the Pride of the X-Men. The pilot, based on the Uncanny X-Men art, it had that kind of like, both DC and Marvel had like a very similar art style from like 1970 through like 1980 something. It all looked like it was made by the same guy, but I can't remember his name.
I don't know. I kind of feel like that's why when you get an actor that actually, like an actor or an animator or somebody working on DC that really knows, like, hey, I'm working on a really cool DC project and I know how cool this is. And it's like they're not going to disappoint the fans. It's really great because it's like I feel like DC fans are so loyal that we're willing to, you know, go down the road and hit several speed bumps of terrible movies because we're just waiting for that one person that understands the character that can make it like, oh my gosh, this is so worth it. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I feel like there's been a few people that have been able to pull it off and just never disappoint us, like Kevin Conroy, and I feel like Michael Keaton also was, like when he stood in the shadows in live action, and it could have been super dorky, but somehow it was so cool. It was amazing.
I feel like
he was able to fulfill like expectations.
What they need to do, like, because they do Elseworlds movies sometimes, but the really popular Elseworlds stories that were like huge top seller DC books, I really believe that they should incorporate the art style from that. Like, I think that there are some stories that kind of work in a samey universe, but I think that the Long Halloween and Hush should have been their own signature style. I think it was a bad idea to give it that same unique, or that same stylistic thing that they did for the New 52 animated universe and what they did with the Tomorrow universe, because some of these stories, they work better as like their own thing. It's not like something that you want to give to your new, you know, shared universe Batman. They need to have their own, like, you know, solo thing, like they did with Gotham by Gaslight. Gotham by Gaslight had its own, you know, signature style to it, and, you know, people look back on that and they're like, oh wow, you know, that's awesome. It's like you're kind of transported to just that world, whereas when you see these shared continuity films, it's like, yeah, this is that Batman in that shared universe, but it doesn't have that same impact.
So you were talking about Gotham by Gaslight, the comic or the game, or
the comic is based on the animated movie looks like the comic.
Oh yeah. I was thinking when you were talking about that, I was thinking about the game, that video you did on the possible Gotham by Gaslight game is like such a missed opportunity. Like that would have been so cool.
Yeah, it was a missed opportunity, but that got canceled in favor of Arkham Asylum. So.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Ha! We found out now that there were 2 games that were canceled so that Arkham Asylum could happen.
Oh, wow.
which I always knew. Everybody thought that Commissioner Gordon was like high on life when he did that interview saying that he was recording lines with Christian and Heath for a Batman game in 2008.
Yeah.
Like when he was doing promotion,
Right.
he was like talking about the new Batman game. They're like, well, he probably played Arkham Asylum. No, he did not.
It was real.
It was real. There was another studio that was actually making a Dark Knight video game.
Yeah.
And it was going to have the Tumblr. It was going to be different than Arkham Asylum. DC canceled it because they did not want the Arkham Asylum game to go up against a licensed movie game. They didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And that game was actually further along in... it wasn't further along in development as the Eidos and Rocksteady thing, but it existed, and it happened. So when people go back and they watch that interview where Gary Oldman's talking about this upcoming Batman game, they're always like, well, Gary's a weird guy, so he probably thought blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, it actually was a real thing he was working on, and he was very excited to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Because he also did the voiceover for Commissioner Gordon in the Batman Begins game, and this was going to be the follow-up game to Batman Begins.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I was just thinking about this. Like, we had, obviously, there's, so many disappointments with DC, but it's like I was saying, you get that one director or one actor that knows how cool it is to play that character and how well it needs to be, because everyone's expectations are through the roof and waiting for this moment. And I was just thinking, when not that many people saw it, because obviously you had to watch the Snyder Cut, but when Henry Cavill came as Happy Superman and he looked at the screen, I feel like he was looking at the fans, almost fourth wall. He knew how cool the moment was. He was aware of how perfectly he was playing the part. It was the coolest thing in the entire world at that moment. The world,
Oh, you mean when he came back in the Snyder Cut?
The world stood still, but nobody saw it. It was just one of the coolest things I've ever experienced in my life, because it was perfect. He did it exactly. He didn't disappoint. He got to actually do Superman how he was supposed to.
Yeah, but it was short-lived, though, unfortunately.
But I was just thinking about that, how you said, James Gunn said about Superman, he's not going to be the main one, so that means he knew. James Gunn knew that Henry Cavill could blast that out of the park.
Well, that's the rumor. There's no guarantee. Zack Snyder had Final Crisis on his desk, and, he could just be reading it. But the fact that James Gunn says that his basis for the DC characters is a Grant Morrison run, because he enjoyed, what Grant Morrison did pre-52, a little bit of the New 52, and, after the New 52. And he's doing that type of characteristics for, Superman and Batman and things like that. I would say Grant didn't really know how to write Superman very well. That's my argument. So I hope we've already seen what New 52 Superman is on film. That was Henry Cavill. We don't want that again. But, his big thing with Superman is he's doing All-Star Superman, but that was a dying Superman story. So Superman won't be dying, but he's going to incorporate that happy, optimistic kind of Christopher Reeve Superman that was in that, briefly in that comic run. It's a fantastic comic. It's a sad comic.
Yeah.
Because Superman dies at the end, but, Superman acts like the Superman that he's supposed to be, which is this character that is very optimistic and people can aspire to be like him, and he's a very hopeful character. He brings hope to the world. That's what Superman does.
Yeah.
So, we're almost done with this, and then we're going to get to Sandland.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed that. And Captain Zach said, so was that a good idea to write that topic down? We'll see, Captain Zach. Maybe we will. Maybe Luke will do a video on, 26 or 27 people that, versions of Batman that Kevin Conroy has done.
Maybe. We'll see.
I texted Luke right now, and I'll screenshot it, so in case he ever wants to do a topic video. Thank you, Captain Zach, for the idea. It was a cool topic for today, though, and thank you guys for all the cool Batman and Superman questions.
I didn't know Two-Face could actually do that.
It's so neat that people are still... like, there's so many questions people have about Batman and Superman still today, and the characters have been around for so long. It just shows that the hype of Batman and Superman has never gone away. Like, I mean, I'm a Wonder Woman fan, but the truth is, like, Batman and Superman are the main characters of DC, and they are the two most popular, and, you know, they have the most, they have the most hype of anything. Like, the hype is real.
The hype is real. Okay, guys, so it took a while, but we did, that level's actually required multiple playthroughs in order to get all this stuff. But we got all the red bricks, we got all of the, stuff. So that's done. So, I mean, there's only a couple levels left, and then we have the DLC levels. Someone was asking, what's going to happen when the cat game comes out? When the cat game comes out, this game's going to be put on the back burner. This is our filler series that we were doing, like, in conjunction with, like, new releases. So, I mean, it'll be periodically throughout the month of May until it's done. Like, it could show up on the weekend, you know.
Luke.
Yes?
You need to actually respond right now because he's about to leave.
What's wrong?
There.
Okay.
Oh, Clayton, Luke doesn't have access to Discord right now. I'm so sorry. Thank you for the super chat, Clayton.
Vita's blasting his Gallic gun in the background. I DM'd you in Discord about my project, so whenever you're free. I don't have Discord anymore. I can't explain it. I need you to email me on, get a hold of my Instagram, or make an Instagram account, and we'll work out the details, Clayton. Because our streams get constantly hacked, I can't give information about the Discord, because that would be a clue as how people can hurt us.
Yeah, every time you've come by, Clayton, Luke's tried to say, like, oh, I don't have Discord access, but, you had to go. Thank you for the super chat, Clayton. I'll read it. Kwings, the new Superman suit is CW trash while Vegeta is blasting his Gallic gun in the background. I DM'd you. Yeah. So thank you, Clayton.
No, I'm locked. Discord locked me out, but I can't talk about it. Just Instagram me. KwingsLetsPlays on Instagram, and we'll hammer out the details.
He has an Instagram.
Awesome. Okay. I'll check it later tonight. You don't need to apologize for anything, Clayton. No. You don't need to apologize.
Clayton, you are so generous and kind.
You're fine.
Thank you, Clayton. You're breathtaking.
Alright, so anyway, guys and gals, if this stream gets 1,000 views, we'll do another LEGO DC Supervillains tomorrow. If not, 4 o'clock will be the awesome mech game. So I will give you guys a few days to get another episode of this, because the cat game does come out tomorrow. Or, well, I mean, we're going to try to get access to the cat game tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Sandland will start up in about 10 minutes or so. God bless Happy Gaming. Thank you for the super chat. Clayton, thank you guys for watching. We got the stream up to about 820.
Yep,
and
thank you to our...
we completed what we needed to in terms of 100%ing that stuff. So, try really hard, guys, to get 1,000 views for another episode. And I will see you on Sandland in just a little bit. Whoops.